Part 1 Unstable. Rias, Issei, who am I to you? Issei, well, you're the president and… Rias, you're an asshole, Issei. Rias slaps Issei hard enough to leave 3 cuts on his face. Issei, but president, what did I? Aquino, you dense idiot. Zenobia, I don't know much about romance, but even I know what was happening. Issei, guys, what did I do wrong? Kiba, come on man, how can you not tell? Asia, Issei, you're a jerk. Kaneko, you're the worst. Issei, Gasper, do you hate me too? Gasper, kind of. Issei looks at Rias. Issei, president, I. Rias lost whatever self-control she had left. Rias, I should have let Raynare kill you twice. Rias, now realizing what she just said, covers her mouth and tears stream down her face. Issei, what? Issei's face went from confused to hurt and shocked. Issei, what did you mean by that? Rias, I'm sorry. Rias storms out the door of the clubroom, leaving Issei with the others. His cuts were bleeding, but he didn't even notice. Issei looks at the others. Issei, what did she mean by that? Roswace, I don't really know. Who is Raynare? Ravel, I feel like this is my fault. Aquino, no it's not. Issei, stop ignoring me and answer my question. What did she mean by letting Raynare kill me? Issei raised his voice and it scares the hell out of the others, but 3 of them were truly terrified. Aquino, Kaneko, and Kiba can't look him in the eyes. Issei, you 3, looks like you know what she meant. Issei now slowly releasing a dangerous and toxic aura that forced one of them to speak up. Kiba, because she knew about Raynare hunting you and let her kill you. Aquino, so that she could add you to her peerage and help break off the engagement. Irina, guys, what the hell? Issei was completely unstable. His aura was in a state of flux, but it's nothing compared to his emotions. He's hyperventilating and too many expressions on his face to tell what's happening to him, but it was easy to guess. Irina tried to calm him down. Irina, Issei, you need to calm down. She hugged him, but it pushed him over the edge. He freaked out, and Irina was pushed away by the force of his power flaring. Irina, Issei. Issei, stay away from me, all of you. I take it anymore. It's one lie after another. Issei was now shaking and having muscle spasms. His heart beat at an all-time high, which obviously increased his blood pressure to the point his eyes were bloodshot and he had a nosebleed. Zenobia jumped in, and so did Roswace, Ravel, and Irina too. They all held him down and tried to calm him. Asia used her twilight healing hopping to contain his blood pressure, but none of it worked. Issei pushed everyone off of him and looked at those who lied to him with such fury that they actually lost all feeling in their legs. Gasper hid in his box and Asia behind the couch. Issei's tears mixed with the blood from his cuts on his face stung him. He touched his face and felt the blood strain his hands. Issei, after everything I did and went though, this is what I get in return. Issei subconsciously enters his balance breaker. Didrag, everyone keep your distance. He's too unstable. Issei, please calm down. Issei, like hell didrig. Issei bursts through the window and flies away, reaching supersonic speed as he gained altitude. Back at the clubroom, Aquino, Kaneko, and Kiba just look out the now broken window, then felt the menacing glares coming from the others. Roswace, you guys let him die. Aquino, not being able to look at her or anyone in the eye. Aquino, yes. Irina, why, you let my childhood friend die. Zenobia, I want to know how. Kiba, yeah, we owe you guys that much. Kiba tells them everything about Issei being a target because of his sacred gear and the Fallen attacking him, then Rias reincarnating him. Asia, you don't know what else he endured soon after. He took a light spear 3 times for me after you made him a devil. Kaneko, went. Asia, once in the chest when we met and twice in the legs after my sacred gear was forcibly removed. I was on the verge of death, but I opened my eyes and saw him taking on Raynare all on his own. He cried for me and was HELBNT on AVNGINGME. Aquino, we didn't. Asia, did you know about me being a target too? Issei did tell you guys about me so that you would help. Kiba, yeah, he told us. Gasper, and you guys let big sis Asia die too. Kiba, Kaneko, and Akino had their eyes covered by their hair. Roswace, I'm going to look for Issei. Anyone want to help? Irina, I'm in. I can't stand being in the same room as them. Gasper, Zenovia, Asia, and Ravel all leave to look for Issei. He may have flown at supersonic speeds, but he can still be tracked. Back with Rias after she ran away. Rias still walking in the hallway of the school building when she heard the sonic boom that cracked some of the windows. She looked out the window and saw a glimpse of Issei in his balance breaker flying at supersonic speeds. She could feel his power going wild. She placed her hand on the window cracks and felt something moist. She looked at it and saw Ria's blood. She thought that she cut herself when she touched the crack but found no cuts on her fingers. She realized something. It was the same hand she slapped Issei with, and the blood in the window cracks was his. Rias, Issei, what have I done? With Issei. He was regretting everything, so much hate especially about he let himself fall for someone who used him. The memories were flashing in his mind. Issei had reached the very edge of Japan in mere moments, and luckily it was desolate. Issei, still in his balance breaker, landed on a cliff and wasn't doing any better than earlier. Issei looked at the sea and formed several dragon shots. He fires one after the other and some hit the sea miles off the shore. It's almost as if atom bombs were being tested. The shock waves created small earthquakes. Issei fires some into the sky and they travel all the way to the moon. They hit the surface and small but visible new craters formed. He then boosted to his full limit and fired off the biggest dragon shot of his life straight into space. He was now completely drained, both physically and emotionally. Eventually, he stopped and deactivated his balance breaker. He looked at the cliff and wanted to jump. Just before he could walk over to the edge, his knees lost their strength to support him and Issei fell on them. He looked at the ocean and let out all his emotions. He wailed and his voice was carried out into the sea. The screams of betrayal and heartbreak was dwarfing the sound of the sea itself, almost as if Mother Nature herself gave a few moments of silence to let him vent. Issei then cried, all his memories of Rias, Akino, Kaneko, and Kiba racing, though his very being, the ones who helped him, saved him, trained with him, laughed with him, were the ones who destroyed his life in the first place. They used him and toyed with his emotions the whole time. At least Raynare was honest about her intentions. She made his last day a good one despite her being a bloodthirsty bitch. Issei, they really are devils, and now I'm stuck being one of them. D-Drag partners. Issei, yeah. D-Drag, for the first time in my long life, I have no words to bring you any comfort. I'm sorry. Issei, it's fine. D-Drag, I need to be alone, please. D-Drag, I understand. Issei lay there crying to the point where enough of his tears turned the dirt to mud. After a while, he just lay there in silence for the remainder of the day. Little did he know that Roswace, Irina, Zenovia, Gasper, Ravel, and Asia had teleported to him earlier just when he started firing dragon shots. The whole scene was just too much. Irina and Asia tried to go to him, but Zenovia and Roswace stopped them. They gave the two a look that begged them to stop. Irina and Asia just stood there and watched Issei vent his emotions. His mind and emotional state was in complete disarray. The girls and Gasper just watched him lay motionless well into the night. Eventually, he passed out after his blood pressure dropped. Considering how high it was not too long ago, they all watched him and thought about what he's going through. Roswace, so Raynare aka his first love, played with his emotions and killed him, and the woman he loves now was the one who let it happen and used him for her personal gain, then completely broke him with one sentence just because he was afraid to confess. Anything I missed? Irina, no, that's just about the gist of it. Zenovia, you know, that I think about it, he never once made a move on me or any of us, even after he clearly knew we wanted him. Every time I looked into his eyes, I saw fear that completely overshadowed his desires, and now, after what he just experienced, I'm afraid that he won't be the happy, optimistic Issei we all know and love. Asia then started to cry. Asia, and we fanned the flames by being condescending. Gasper, we never once looked into why he was so afraid. Ravel, I never even thought that someone as kind and happy as him suffered so much. Irina, we are all horrible friends. Some of her white angel feathers turned black. Zenovia, Irina, stop, we are all to blame, we will fix this together. Irina, if we can. They look at Issei, who was still laying motionless, and when they thought that it was safe to get closer, they moved in hopping to take him back and help him. They looked at him and saw him crying even his sleep, twitching from the nightmares that he was clearly having, the cuts on his face still fresh. Asia immediately began to heal the cuts, but in instinct Issei opened his eyes and jumped away from everyone still breathing heavily. He was once again in full panic and looking at everyone simultaneously while keeping distance. Gasper, big brother Issei, it's us. Issei in a state barely recognized them. Irina tried to come closer. Issei, stay back. Issei summoned his gauntlet and prepared a dragon shot. Roswace immediately put up a powerful shield. Issei launched it and hit the ground near the shield. The edge of the cliff began to collapse and he just happened to be on that part. The cliff edge gave way and Issei began to fall into the water. The other immediately tried to catch him, but it was useless. Gasper tried to freeze time but couldn't focus, too much adrenaline going through him to let him focus. They tried to reach for his hand only to see him not reaching out for them. His hands were on his sides. If only he had reached out, then they could have saved him, but clearly he didn't want to be saved. They screamed his name, then dived after him, only to see that Issei landed in the water surrounded by the jagged rocks. The white waters made him disappear. They dived in after him, but the waves made it impossible to find him. After searching for hours, they didn't see his body wash up anywhere, and the gruesome truth was setting in. Zenovia, Issei. Asia, please come back, Issei. Gasper, big brother. Ravel, sniff. Roswace, you didn't deserve this, Issei. Irina, no, Issei. Irina screams into the open sea, and with it everyone started to cry. Even Roswace, who spent very little time with him, still grew quite fond of him and cared for him. This truly is a dark day for everyone involved. Part 2. What are you? Everyone goes back to Kyoto the next morning after a fruitless search. None of them had slept. When they arrive at the school, they ignored everyone and went straight to the orc. They entered and found it to be empty. Zenovia, kind of glad it's empty. Irina, same. Gasper, we just wish he was here. Back with Issei. Issei was washed up on a shore and eventually woke up and was more in control. His face stung a lot from the sea water on his cuts. Issei looks around and sees that he's alone. He tries to think of where to go, but his mind is still messed up from yesterday. Issei decided to go for a walk and walked near a forest. He was too deep in thought to hear the sounds of twigs breaking behind him. Eventually Issei's instincts kicked in, but just not quick enough. He felt something his right arm, and when he looked at it, he saw what looked like a skinwalker, but even more weak and skinnier than you usually see one. Its skin was ash gray and black lines on its chest. What had a hole in it? Was that injury? Issei asked himself. He looked at the creature in its eyes and saw no life in them. The bite only had enough force to pierce his skin, but nothing more than that. The creature let go and fell to the ground. Issei looked at it and saw that it also had horns that pointed forward. The creature then slowly started to crack like cheap porcelain, then turned to dust. Issei, what was that thing? A skinwalker. Issei looked at the bite mark. Issei, it barely had enough strength for one last attempt at a meal. Didrag, partner, you okay? Issei, yeah, Didrag, I'm okay, I guess. Didrag, Issei, I think we should head back to the others. Issei now starting to shake at the mere mention of them. Issei, why should I? Didrag, because you'll be marked as a stray, and when you were passed out on the cliff, Asia, Irina, Zenovia, Ravel, Gasper, and Roswace came after you. They tried to help, but in your panic state you attacked them and fell off the cliff. Don't worry, they are not harmed. Issei, Didrag. Didrag, Issei, I know you want to die after you went through, and that's understandable, but think about those who still care. Other than those 4 devils, did the others ever hurt you? Issei, no, but... Didrag, come on Issei, don't make them think that you're dead. They don't need to suffer too. Issei hesitates at first, but reluctantly agreed. Issei, alright Didrag, let go. Issei actives his balance breaker and flies home. After a while he arrived, but was breathing heavily after he deactivated his balance breaker. Issei, why am I so tired? Didrag, go home and eat something. You expended just about all of your strength. You did leave a few new craters on the moon after all. Issei chuckles at that. Issei, yeah, that I did. Issei goes to his house and sees his parents, and they were clearly worried about him. his mother Mickey said. Mickey, Issei, where have you been? We haven't seen you since yesterday. Issei, sorry mom, something's happened and I needed to clear my head. His father Goro asked. Goro, Issei, you got hurt. The 3 cuts on your face, did someone hurt you? Issei, don't worry dad, I'm fine. I got hit with a thorny branch and it cut me. I'm okay, but I'm tired and just want to sleep. Sorry. Issei walks up to his room and cleans up. He cleans the bite marks which he hid from his parents. He washes the cuts on his face, but when he looks in the mirror, he sees the cuts and they remind him of her. Issei then sits in the tub sobbing. Drake's words had only brought him temporary comfort, but the effect what he experienced went deeper than he could have imagined. Issei eventually calmed down and then felt numb inside. He was basically running on autopilot at this point. He thoughtlessly got ready for school and ate breakfast and barely spoke to his parents who were worried sick about him. He left for school and was greeted by his 2 friends Matsuda and Madohama. Madohama, yo Issei, how you doing? Issei didn't respond and just kept on walking. Matsuda stopped him. Matsuda, hey bro, you okay? They looked at Issei and saw something that scared them. Nothing, they saw nothing, no emotion, no response, no life in his eyes. It's as if he's not alive anymore. Matsuda, Issei, speak to us man, come on. Madohama, dude, it's us, your friends. Issei's eyes now show a little bit of life. Issei, guys. Both hugged him when he called out to them. The other students noticed and word got around that Issei isn't himself. The gossip reached the orc in minutes and they all rushed out to see him. Rias was the first to run out the door at speeds that even surprised Kiba. Rias ran to him and the 2 guys saw her coming, and though that maybe Rias could snap him out of it, she was followed by everyone including Rossways. As soon as Rias hugged him and said his name, Issei started shaking. Issei, let go. Issei removed himself from her embrace in a swift motion. Rias, why? Issei, just stay away, Rias. Issei said with venom in his voice that looked like it would physically injure her. Rias steps forward. Rias, you finally said my name. Rias now shedding tears not only because Issei called her by her name but also because of how he said it. He didn't say it out of love but pure hatred. He lost all love and respect for her the instant she accidentally told him that she let him die, how she let Asia die. Issei, now back into his defensive and panicked position, just like yesterday on the cliff, set off alarms in everyone's head. Rossways, everyone get to class, that's an order, we'll handle this. Everyone goes except for the 2 guys. Rossways, that includes you 2 as well. Madohama, Issei's our friend and we won't leave him like this. Matsuda, we can help. Rossways, fine. Irina, Issei, it's us, don't you recognize us? Issei, Irina. Irina, yes, it's me. She takes a step forward. Issei, please stay back, all of you. Issei said in a voice that was broken. He was trembling again. Asia, Issei, we know we are in the wrong for what happened yesterday. Please let us try to make it right. Zenobia, yes, that's all we ask of you. Issei, Akino, give us a chance. Issei now getting really angry. Issei, like the so-called chance you gave me when you forced me into your shit. Why should I? You and the others knew about it and instead of helping me and Asia you let us suffer. I don't know who I can trust here. Matsuda and Madohama look at each other and then to the orc with questioning gazes. Rias, I never meant to hurt you Issei, it's just. Issei, enough of the lies Rias, stop lying and manipulating me for once in your life. Rias, I never did any of that Issei. Issei, didn't I just tell you to stop lying? You let me die, you let Asia die and you could have done something about it. The 2 guys, what? Kiba, it's not what it sounds like. Matsuda, no, what he said can only mean one thing, so please explain. Akino, there's nothing to explain. Issei spreads his devil wings ready to fly away as he sensed their intent to take him down. Matsuda and Madohama just looked at his wings, completely unable to process what they were seeing on top, everything already happening. Kaneko then appeared behind them and knocked them out. Issei tackled her into a tree in retaliation. The others took the chance to restrain Issei using their own bodies. They all tackle him onto the ground and they were too strong for Issei to fight in his current state. Issei being pinned by those who lied and used him made him feel helpless just like before. Issei was trying to escape frantically but to avail. Eventually he stopped moving and Rias was on top of him worried sick, but when she saw his face. Issei, please, just let me go. I can't, Issei's eyes once again devoid of life yet cried a stream of tears and had dark circles and his face was pale. Rias and Akino felt like they got hit by a light spear through the chest. Kaneko didn't show much expression, but she was trying to control herself and Kiba just sat down on one knee. They realized what they did. They completely broke the one who put them together all on his own. Rossways put a sleep spell on Issei and knocked him out since students were watching from the windows. They picked up Issei and took him to the nurse's office and put him on the bed. Akino cast a spell and wiped out everyone's memory of what they saw. Only members of the Orc and Arena know what happened. Issei lays in bed and the others stayed by his side. Asia stayed on the bed with him while Arena kept holding his hand. Zenovia, will he be okay? Issei's gauntlet appears on his arm. D-Drag's like hell he will. Rias, D-Drag, how is he? D-Drag, just look at him, Gremory. How can anyone answer that? Rias. D-Drag, has anyone told her what had happened after she left? Rossways, I did. D-Drag, do any of you also know why he was keeping his distance from everyone, even from those who didn't hurt him? Zenovia, we have a guess but not completely sure. D-Drag, I'll tell you. After Raynare used him and killed him, he developed a fear of women, but he was on the verge of overcoming it, but it still lingered in his heart. The reason he didn't confess yesterday was due to a few excellent reasons. Rias, please tell me. D-Drag, first, he is definitely in love with you, but was afraid of rejection, which was completely normal considering how much he used to care. Second, he never called you by your name out of respect. You are his king, and he was afraid that if you two did have a relationship, then it would cause trouble for you both. Third, he wanted to call you by your name when you two were alone, but with so many people in your lives, you two can't be alone for 10 seconds without anyone getting between you two. A momentary silence. D-Drag, but after you accidentally told him the truth, that old fear completely took over and is now afraid of nearly woman he sees or comes near him, thus his reaction towards everyone here save for Gasper. Kiba, but I'm a guy. D-Drag, did you already forget that you were a part of the plan that ended up in him getting pierced by light spears 4 times? He hates you too. He's going to need medication to calm himself and to control his health now. You promised to be his brother and look where that got him. If I could leave the sacred gear, I would have made you 4 suffer. Even the past hosts of the boosted gear have great anger directed towards you. Silence fell for 5 minutes. Akino, you know I thought we lost him forever after we were told that he fell off the cliff. Issei, but you did lose me forever. Issei was now awake. He sat up and looked at everyone without any emotions, yet tears were being shed. His stoic expression shamed Kaneko's blank expression. Rias, Issei, please, I know we beg you for your forgiveness. I hurt you, so please let me make it up to you. Rias begged, but Issei looked on with a soulless gaze with an empty voice. Issei, Rias, you didn't hurt me, you killed me. Rias, I'm so sorry. Issei, tell me something, you 4, was it all a lie? Kaneko, what do you mean? Issei, all of it, training, hanging out, sharing our personal secrets, all the battles in which we could have and almost died in, living together. Issei then looked at Rias. Issei, falling in love, was all of it just a plot to use me, to use Asia? If that's the case, then I don't want to be part of your peerage anymore. Issei spread his wings and then just ripped them out without caring how much it hurt. He didn't even flinch from the pain. Irina, Asia, and Akino covered their mouths and had wide eyes. Rias, Kiba, Gasper, Rossways, Irina, and Ravel looked on in horror at the sight. The sound leathery wings being ripped off made their blood run cold. Issei held his wings and looked at them. Issei, I don't want to be a devil anymore. I'm leaving the Orc. I'm done. Asia immediately took his wings and used Twilight Healing. Issei was bleeding profusely after his little stunt. Asia healed both wings. Issei, Asia, I told you, I don't want to be a devil anymore. He tried to remove the wings again, but she and Irina stopped him. Zenovia, Issei, please don't do that again. She was trembling. Rias then completely broke down, and so did the others. They just hugged him and found that he was shaking but still empty inside. Issei, answer my question, was it all a lie? Kiba, no Issei, it was all real, you're my brother. You saved me from being consumed by revenge. Kaneko, you helped me out of kindness, but we were never there for you. We're sorry. Akino, all of our time together wasn't any plot to control you. We really do love you. Issei, Rias, Issei, I know what I did was wrong, but I promise you that every one moment we spent together were the best in our lives. You gave your arm for me to beat Riser. You saved us all, so please let me make it right, since I was the one who dragged the others into my stupid plan. She buried her face into his chest while crying. Rias, we want our Issei back. Zenovia, that's right, we didn't think about what you went through. Irina, and we blamed you for not confessing your feelings without considering yours. Ravel, Roswace, we miss the happy perv we know. Roswace said, trying to lighten the mood. Issei, that's just it, you won't get he old me ever again because it's like I said, you killed me, I'm gone. Asia, what? Issei, it was my perversion that got me into this mess in the first place. If I wasn't so perverted, then I would have questioned who Raynare really was when she showed up out of nowhere wearing a uniform of a school that doesn't exist. I would have been more alert and not ended up getting a light spear go right through me. I'm sorry, but the old me is long gone. Rias whispered, no, no, no. Just then everyone got a magical circle appear next to their ears. It was an announcement of the rating games that was starting and the V's matches. Roswace, guys, take a day off. As a teacher, I can get you all off the hook. Issei, you are free to do as you wish. Take a leave of absence. We can all talk it out after we settle ourselves a bit. She gave Issei a genuine smile of sincerity and kindness. She did want to help, and she's doing it the right way. Issei, I need to be alone for a while, please. They fulfill his request. Everyone follows Roswace. Irina and Asia stayed and refused to leave. Issei, you two can go if you want, I'll be fine. Asia, we're not leaving. You might rip your wings out again and bleed to death. Irina, I failed you yesterday and I won't put you through that again. Consider me your own guardian angel. He let out a chuckle. Issei, a devil having a guardian angel, how interesting. Irina jumped on Issei and spread her wings that were now more black than white. She embraced Issei and Asia in her wings. Issei felt the sensation of the soft feathers, but the black color felt wrong, felt unnatural. Issei looked at them and was now beginning to feel something. It was guilt. She nearly fell because of her guilt for thinking that she hurt him. He won't let her put in all the effort. He will also try to make things better. Issei remembered something. He remembers Irina not blaming him for his inability to confess to Rias. Asia did, but thinking back, Rias had her in the palm of her hand ever since she turned her into a devil. He wasn't going to blame these two or Gasper for that matter. He's young, he is her bishop after all, he was just loyal to her. Issei, Asia, Irina, thank you. I'll try to make things go back to normal, both for you two and myself. Irina, don't blame yourself, I don't blame you at all. Don't fall because of me. I don't think I can actually live with the guilt if that were to happen. Stay as the pure angel Irina we know and love. Black wings don't suit you, I'm afraid. Irina, only if stay as the same old Issei we know and love. Issei, Irina, we both know that it's far too late. I won't go back to being a perv, I'm done with that, and since you were the one who defended me yesterday, I know for sure that you truly are an angel. Thank you, and you as well, Asia. Both of you were there at the cliff yesterday along with the others. I appreciate it and I'm sorry for attacking you. Irina's black feathers became white once more. She thought she was one of those who hurt him, but after hearing him say that she didn't do anything wrong, her guilt was gone. They stay in his embrace till the end of the school day. Issei was still shaking a little because he's still afraid of women, but he didn't push them away because he didn't want to hurt them. They were hurting enough. Part 3: Unleash. A month has passed and Issei doesn't really interact much with Rias, Akino, Kaneko, and Kiba unless it was necessary. However, he was fine with everyone else and would smile around the other orc members, the most including Irina. During school hours, his two friends may not completely remember what happened last month, but had vague glimpses of it, but remember what they felt to the fullest. They wouldn't peep on girls or tell Issei to join them, but instead they stuck by his side, tried to make the best of their time with Issei. Issei was still depressed after everything, At night, Asia would cuddle with him to make sure he wasn't alone, but if she had a job, then Drake would pull him into the sacred gear and keep him company. Issei got a prescription from a doctor to help control his anxiety and depression. They helped a bit. He bought a small watch and set a small alarm for each time he had to take his pills, but unfortunately some of which went off during class, and he just didn't care if people saw him taking medication. Some of it was for his high blood pressure. Anytime his BP increased without natural causes would make him tremble, as it reminded him of that day. The teachers and students all looked at him in worry. His hands would shake whenever any girl or female teacher would come near him or talk to him. He couldn't make eye contact for more than a few seconds. He had all the visible signs of depression: dark circles under his eyes, pale skin. He was skinnier than usual. He was silent and barely made a sound when forced to interact. In those days, all the kids in Kyoto Academy noticed the three sitting together and completely ignoring the girls. Not one glance in the past month. They wanted to know what brought on the change. Eika, the lady perv, walks over. Eika, sup pervs? Issei, oh hey Eika, how's it going? Eika was surprised at Issei's response. Normally he would straight up tell her to go away. Eika, I'm good, you okay? You seem a little down. Matsuda, Eika, moment alone please. Eika and Matsuda go to talk alone. Matsuda, Eika, we need a favor. Eika, sure, but tell me what's up with you three. Matsuda, fine. Issei doesn't talk about it much, but let's just say that his heart has been shattered and he's depressed. Eika, that actually makes sense. He's usually with Rias and Akino, but most of us noticed that he's been keeping distance from them. That includes Kaneko and Kiba. Matsuda, that's about the gist of it. He talks to the other members, but not much maybe, except for Asia and Irina. Zenovia and Gasper along with Ravel join us, but Issei usually spaces out. Eika, yeah, I noticed, and when I looked at him in the eyes, they seem empty. He's gotten skinnier and pale. Matsuda, yeah, we're worried about him. Eika, you two really are friends and not just pervs. Matsuda, no shit Sherlock, Issei's our friend and we won't leave him in his time of need. I asked him to come over and my dog became his support animal. I even let him let my dog go with him some days. Eika, damn, there's more to you guys than you let on, so what's the favor? Matsuda, keep it discreet and stop any rumors from spreading please. Eika, sure, I can handle that, but tell me, why did he start shaking when I came over? Matsuda, he's basically afraid of any woman except for a certain few, which include Zenovia, Irina, Ravel, Asia, and Rosway Sensei. He can hardly maintain eye contact with any other woman. Eika, that's why he looked away the instant we walked over to talk alone. Matsuda, yeah. Eika, wow, alright, if he needs anything let me know. We may not look like it, but we are friends, so just tell me, okay? Matsuda, we really appreciate this, Eika. Eika, you know, you guys are pretty cool when you aren't peeping and looking after one another. We'll see ya. Matsuda, right, take care. Matsuda walks back to Madohama and Issei. Over time, Issei would return to normal. He would talk more with the others and open up. He even began talking to Rias, Akino, Kiba, and Kaneko more, but not too much. Irina would at times stay with Issei, and seeing his recovery greatly reduced her guilt, which did nearly cause her to fall. Her wings were now mostly white again, save for the few black feathers found here and there. Issei also felt happier knowing that they all truly did care about him. Once even Rias and Akino tried to seduce him by offering themselves. Rias, hey Issei tilde, care to join us tilde? Issei looked at them straight in the eyes and refused. He didn't once glance at their bodies. Rias and Akino asked him why. Issei responded with, Issei, Rias, Akino, I don't feel that way, so just stop it. Their faces display pure disbelief. Akino, do you not love us anymore? Issei, I don't know honestly, but I'm not driven by lust anymore. I need time to get over what happened. And with that, he leaves the orc room. Both look at the new Issei walk away. He was no longer a perv and became a gentleman. Akino, he's become more of a man than we ever though possible. Rias, yeah, I do miss his touch though. Akino, we can only give him the space he needs. Rias, we put him through too much. Rias, I miss him. He's still here sometimes. I can't even sense his presence even when he's right in front of us. Akino, I noticed too. He doesn't even know if he loves us anymore. Rias, I'm honestly starting to wish that I could pray. Both broke down once again. Back to the present. The raiding game was about to start in 1 month time. Team Rias and Arena were training with Team Citri. Issei and Saji decided to train far off in the distance on the mountain because wheeled dragon-type sacred gears. Both were duking it out and were evenly matched at first, but Saji gained the upper hand. Saji, give up Issei, you can't win this match. I trained and had a few upgrades. Issei, but can it compare to this? Balance break. D-Drag, Welsh Dragon Balance Breaker. Issei, now in his dragonic armor, launched a strong punch towards Saji, who was still managing to dodge his attacks. Issei, not bad. Saji, yeah, Azazel gave me an upgrade at the Grigori. Issei, I should have known, haha, well then try this promotion tonight. Issei's armor becomes slimmer and his speed is too much for Saji to dodge. Issei tacked him into a tree, but Saji took this as a chance to attach an absorption line from his sacred gear. Issei, uh-oh. Saji fast physically but not mentally. Saji began to absorb his power similar to Volley when he used Divine Dividing. Issei's power continues to drop to the point where his balance breaker falls apart, but something was wrong. D-Drake, Saji, cut the line now. Saji, what? Suddenly Issei got up and punched Saji and severed the line. Saji, Issei, what the hell? Saji looked at him and saw some kind of white mist manifesting out of the air and solidifying on his face. It turned into a mask, a white mask with red lines just like the cuts on his face. Saji, Issei. Issei then opened his eyes. His eyes were now yellow and red like fires of hell itself. Issei summons a Scalon and attacks Saji. He dodges and flared his aura in Morse code. SOS, Sona felt it. Rias, why did you stop? Sona, get to Saji and Issei now. Everyone there stopped training and immediately rushed to them and find Issei attacking Saji with full bloodlust. Rias, Issei, stop. Issei then looks at her and sprints towards her, ready to cut her down. Rias barely dodged. She had an opening to attack but couldn't. Issei recovered and was ready to try to slash her again and going straight for her throat. Rias was scared of hurting him again, but luckily Saji sent another absorption line and used it to restrain him. It worked just long enough for Kaneko and Rossways to pin him on the ground. Sona used her magic to bind him. Irina, Zenobia, and Kiba brought out their swords just in case. They all looked at him and saw the mask covering half his face and his eyes. Saji, the mask, take it off of him. Zenobia touched it and tried to take it off, but it won't budge. Issei let out a screech that was a mix of his voice and one that sent chills through everyone's spines. Rias shot a small ball of destruction and it cracked the mask, which broke off and evaporated into nothing. Issei came to his senses and was back to normal. His skin color was no longer the pale white he had earlier. Issei, guys, why am I pinned on the ground and why are you three pointing your swords at me? Ravel, you don't remember. Issei, I remember training with Saji and then I blacked out after he absorbed my power. What happened? They let him go. Rias, you really don't remember anything. Issei, nope. Kiba, not even trying to kill Lady Rias. Issei, I did what? Don't joke about that, Kiba. Kiba, I'm not, you're still holding a Scalon. Issei looks at his hand and sees a Scalon in it. Issei, when did I? What is happening to me? Sona, we should contact Azazel before it's too late. That includes your brother Surzech's. Rias, yes, everyone cancel training for today. Issei, come on. Issei, right. Part 4, Azazel knows. Issei was at the Grigori and all his teammates were there. Azazel, sorry kid, I can't find anything wrong with you. I have no idea what happened to you and there's no evidence that anything ever happened. Rias, he nearly cut me down, Azazel. She said in a sorrow-filled tone. Issei, I'm sorry, Rias. The way Issei apologized felt only half real. It was cold, almost as if he didn't regret it. Azazel, what the hell happened between you and her? Issei, can we please not talk about? Asia, Issei, if you won't tell him then we will. We can trust him. Issei, alright, I'll tell you. Issei would then tell him everything that happened, from the drama in the clubroom, his reaction, depression, no desire, etc. Azazel was listening quietly, but his blood was boiling. Azazel, that explains the shock waves of the coast of Japan and the new craters on the moon, but the mask appearing makes no sense. Issei, think back, did something else happen? Issei goes to a deep though. He starts from the moment he heard her tell him that she let him die only to use him. Tears formed and he begins to shake. The girls quickly hold his hands and it calms him down surprisingly. He manages to look through his memories and remembers something. Issei, I remember being attacked after I woke up the next day. I was near a bunch of trees and bushes and I heard some twigs snap, though it was a small animal like a wild cat, dog, or maybe a rabbit or something, so I paid no attention. Then my instincts kicked in, but not before what thing bit me. Irina, what thing? Issei, it was similar to a skin walker I read about, but it was weaker, ash gray, and had horns. It looked like its head was a skull and there was a hole in its chest. It bit me, then it turned to dust. Azazel seemed stoic, but he was panicking on the inside. Azazel, Issei. Azazel's tone was fully serious. Azazel, that thing that bit you was a Vasto Lorde. Asia, a what? Azazel, it's a hollow and the strongest one of its kind. Irina, a hollow. Azazel, a hollow is a monstrous soul-eating spirit that results when a deceased soul is consumed by negative emotions or is forcibly converted by other hollows. All hollows have masks attached to their faces and a hollow hole somewhere on their bodies. They also have a tendency to attack those who were close to them in their human lives, which they superficially have no recollection of. How they turn into them is when their emotions consume them. A hole represents their missing heart, and the mask now shows their identity in a way. There are plain hollows that come in all shapes and sizes, with most having unique abilities. Those are the low-class Mennos. Gillians are hundreds of Mennos eating each other and becoming one single hollow. They are also called Mennos Grand. Azazel pulls out some images from a file. Azazel, that's a Mennos Grand, and they travel in packs to increase chances of survival because they are surprisingly very weak. The next are called Ajuhas. They're stronger, faster, intelligent, and cunning. They can even speak, but the next one is the deadliest of all. The Vasto Lorde, luckily they're very, very rare. When an Ajuhas becomes a Vasto Lorde, it becomes smaller, about the size of the average human, and even have a human-like body, but their abilities are frightening. Close to an ultimate class devil easily. There are also Ajuhas, which are hollows with their masks removed. They get Soul Reaper powers. All hollows have one primary attack called a Zero. It's a powerful beam of energy that can destroy continents, and even the lowest level hollows are that strong. Issei, then how am I not dead? It could have killed me that day. I didn't even sense it at first. Azazel, that's just it. It is nothing but rage and fighting instincts. There is no presence to sense even when it stands in front of you. Most hollows have one common attack, a Zero. Irina, a Zero. Azazel, it's an energy-based attack like Issei's Dragon Shot or Welsh Bishop Blaster. One shot, if powerful enough, can do far too much damage, especially a continuous beam being fired. Issei, then why did it disintegrate after it bit me? Azazel, they need to feed on other hollows to maintain their power, but since there's not enough hollows in the human world, it grew too weak. Irina, wait, if human souls turn into them, then how are there so few hollows? Azazel, the Soul Reapers handle them. It's their job to help them pass over lost souls. How one Vasto Lorde ended up in the human world must be a fluke. They are usually in a different dimension once the Soul Reapers pass them on. Maybe this one went undetected this whole time. Issei, so why did that mask appear? Azazel, my guess is that when it bit you, it tried to consume you since you have Drag in you, but being in such a state, you temporarily became a hollow. The three what? Azazel, that would explain why I couldn't find anything. There's no presence, thus no way to trace it. Issei, now I'm really afraid. Issei, now slightly pale again. It got their attention. Irina, we're right here, Issei. Issei, but what if it happens again and I try to hurt you? Asia, you won't, we know it. Issei, not what happened to Rias according to you guys. Azazel, about that, you skipped Saji and attacked her while ignoring the others. You still hate her. Issei, and for what she put Asia through, yes, a part of me still does. Rias now had regret and anguish written all over her. Irina, Azazel, I'm glad you were stopped. that would have made you a stray and public enemy number one. Everyone. Issei, is there a way to control it? Azazel, I don't know, but here, take this armband and it'll alert me if it happens again. Maybe try going to Kyoto. Maybe the sage users there can help balance out your emotions, but before that you need to talk to them and accept the changes and the sudden revelation. You won't be able to control it if you can't control yourself. It might just consume you entirely. Azazel attached an armband right where he was bitten. Issei, thanks, we can always count on you. Azazel, happy to help. Now don't you all have a raiding game to prepare for? You don't have long, you know. Issei, right, thanks again. They all leave. Azazel, be safe, Issei. This will be hard for not just you but those around you. Part 5, Change. They all went to Issei's home. He started walking straight to his room, but then he was stopped by Akino. Akino, hey Issei, are you okay? Issei, yeah, why do you ask? Akino, what do you mean why? Because we are worried about you. Issei, oh. Issei continues to walk to his room, and everyone just stared on in silence. Rossways, too much has happened to him too soon. I'll go talk to him. Rias, I think I should. Zenobia, let Rossways try. None of us managed to do much, so maybe she can. She, Irina, and Ravel are the only one who didn't blame him that day, and it's not fair to make Ravel fix our problems. Rias, okay, fine. Rossways goes up to Issei's room and knocks. Issei, come in. He says in a low, empty voice. Rossways opens the door and sees him sitting in the dark. What little light going through the curtains was all that illuminated the room. Issei, something you need. Rossways, we need the old you. Issei, not possible, I'm afraid. Rossways, look, I'm sure that, oh for the love of, can I turn on the lights? Issei, sure. She turns on the light and sees Issei sitting hugging his knees and as depressed as ever. Rossways, you're still depressed about what happened, aren't you? Issei chuckled. Issei, what gave me away? Rossways, new normal methods won't work on him. Rossways, Issei, think about the others. Don't you want to be a harem king? Issei, fuck being the harem king. They all burst through the door and said in unison. What? Irina, you don't want a harem. Rias, that's your dream, Issei. Issei, not anymore. I came to a realization, Rias. I was a naive fool. I let lust consume me ever since I can remember. Asia, but Issei, we all want to be a part of your harem. Issei looks to her. Issei, I'm sorry, Asia, but I won't do that to you, to any of you. Akino, what do you mean? Issei, think about it. I wanted a harem to fulfill my sexual desires, and that means I would only end up using all the women in the room, and that would make me a piece of shit, no different from Diodora or Riser a while back. Kaneko, you're nothing like them. Issei, thanks Kaneko, and now that I have no sexual desires at all, I won't be. Irina, Issei, please, this isn't you. What about the kids who love the grab and dragon? Issei's eyes went wide then dark. He punched a hole in the wall. Issei, those kids, what have I done? Ravel, Issei, please calm down. Issei, how can I? I exposed them to my perverted nature and probably turned them into the perv I used to be. Fuck. Issei punched more holes in the wall repeatedly. They all group hug him while he sobs. Issei, what have I done? What have I done? Kiba, Issei, it's okay. It's okay. Issei, no, it's not. I've turned them into someone like me, damn it. Issei is now even more broken when sees the extent of desires affecting those around him. Ravel, should we go to Kyoto and look for help? Issei, not yet. Please, let's just stay like this for a little while. I'm not ready. I'm not ready. Rias was slightly happy that Issei wanted everyone to be with him, but confused about how to help him. Issei, guys, don't tell anyone about what Azazel told us, okay? Gasper, we promise. A week had passed, and the whole time Issei was quiet. He would space out but would still find the will to sit with others, do his job as a devil, and would train but not to the level it was before. One day his two guy friends showed up and Issei hung out with them in his room. He gave them all the magazines and DVDs that he had relating to porn. The two refused at first but eventually accepted after Issei begged them to take it. They kept it safe and hidden should he ever want them back. Issei and the guys, no longer viewed as the perverted trio, were more accepted in their school. Their grades had improved and enjoyed themselves more. Whenever any of the girls showed up, Issei would look at them right in the eye but never their bodies. That was one of the signs that Issei and his friends had changed. Even Eika stopped teasing but would see the orc members looking at Issei from behind the bushes or out the window. Eika, oh how the tables have turned. 3 weeks left to the raiding game. Issei remembers his promise to Serorg. He will give him the fight for his life and to change the perception on how people see him. He's not the grabbin' dragon anymore. Issei Didrag. Didrag, yes Issei. Issei, I'm sorry for what you went through because of me. Didrag, it's okay partner, it's nothing compared to what you experienced. Issei. Didrag, you'll be okay. Issei, thanks BTW. I've been thinking that stupid dress break. What if instead of clothes I rip out the opponent's magic or energy? Didrag, interesting, perhaps you can undo certain spells after they have been cast. Issei, I better start practicing. Didrag, Issei, we both know that in your current state there's no point. You need to be the determined Issei we all know and love. If you're worried about becoming a hollow, then go to Kyoto, but clear your mind and heart. You need to talk to the 4 of them. Issei, I suppose it was inevitable, but how do I tell her that I'm not in love with her anymore? Didrag, Issei, I hate people who lie to themselves, so just stop it. Issei, huh? Didrag, she's in love with you and you are in love with her. We both know that. Issei, Didrag, it's the truth. I'm not in love with her anymore. Didrag, wait, you're serious? Issei, yes. Didrag, so the reason you are still somewhat ignoring her is because of this. Issei nods in agreement. Didrag, damn, then it's best to let her down gently and tell her in private. Issei sends a message to the 4 and asks them to meet him somewhere private. They respond immediately and choose the park at midnight. Midnight arrives. Issei, thanks for coming you guys. Kiba, we're happy that you want to talk to us again. Akino, you only talked to us when you had to. Kaneko, it worried us all. Issei, then you guys do care. Issei smiled, a real smile after all this time. Rias, it's good to see your smile again. Issei, thanks. Listen guys, I want things to go back to normal. Kiba, that's what we want too. Issei, but there will be some changes. I think we are better off as friends and teammates, but nothing more. They are surprised. Rias, Issei, what are you saying? Issei, you know exactly what I mean, Rias. No more physically intimate relationship, no falling in love, none of that. Akino, Issei, are you breaking up with us? Issei, yes Akino, I am. Kaneko, but why? Issei, all of you already know why. I won't show any favoritism and making the others feel less about themselves. How many times have fights broken out and led to wanton destruction? And Kiba, I'll continue to train with you. Kiba, Issei, I'll continue being your pawn and help you win the raiding game, continue being a figure in the underworld, but the grabbin' dragon is no more. Akino, there's no way to persuade you, is there? She said with tears forming. Issei, no, I'm sorry, my antics have gone on for far too long. Even Didrag, a heavenly dragon, was affected by my shit. To do such a messed up thing is something I need to rectify. None said a word for a minute. Rias, guys, I need to talk to Issei alone. Please give us a minute. Kaneko, sure. She answered for the 3 of them and went home. Issei and Rias were now alone. Issei. Rias, Issei, you know that I'm in love with you and so are the other girls, and I know that you do too, so why? Issei, the same reasons I told you earlier, those and how one tiny mistake led to everything being unraveled. You let Asia and I die, and painfully might I add. How can I be in love with someone like that and those who knew about it? You were the love of my life, and just because I didn't say your name you let it slip that you let me die. Rias, I know you hate me for that and I hate myself for that too, but what did you mean by I was the love of your life? Issei, Rias, I'm not in love with you anymore. Rias' heart broke and the pieces scattered. Rias, what? No, Issei, don't say that please. She embraced him tightly. Issei, I'm not lying, Rias, I can't risk loving again. Rias, why not? Issei, Raynare manipulated and toyed with my emotions. She used me and killed me. Then you showed up right after and turned me into your pawn only to be used again and again. You also toyed with my emotions. I didn't have time or support to fix the damage Raynare did, and just when I fell for you and then, all this shit happened. Rias, but Issei, tell me Rias, if you were in my place, would you have loved me if I did the same to you? Would you have fallen for me if I couldn't save you from Riser? Rias, no. Issei, yeah, I figured. I'm sorry Rias, but our relationship is strictly platonic and professional from this point on. Rias is now crying, holding nothing back. Rias, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. My selfishness pushed you over the edge I didn't even know you were on. Please forgive me, forgive us. Issei's eyes now red from trying to hold back the tears. He embraced her too, and both cried to their absolute limit. They cried and stayed in each other's embrace till the sun came up. None of them slept or even moved. Once the sun hit their red puffy eyes, they were both quiet and saw the sunrise. Rias, we stayed here all night. Issei, yeah. Rias, I've thought about what you said. I can't blame you for not wanting to be with me or the others. Issei, Asia is like a little sister to me. Irina is my childhood friend. Ravel is a good friend and ally. Zenobia just wants kids and strong ones. It's not love between us. She'll find someone to love and have a happy family with. Akino too, and you, Kaneko and Rosswace don't see me that way, and I'm okay with that. Rias, so many lovers, but you want none of them. Why? Issei, I don't want to be selfish, Rias. How could I deprive them of their right partners who are out there somewhere when I hardly think I'm worthy to be with any one of you? Issei maybe not love the girls like he used to, but still cares enough to tell a little white lie to spare her feelings. Rias, you're more than worthy for me. Issei, too damaged for that, Rias. I'm not that guy anymore. I'm a hollow shell of what I once was, and I'm afraid that I'll hurt you. I remember when I used Juggernaut Drive, you tried to help and I swatted you away, though I hurt you. Rias looked him in the eyes as they let a fresh tear fall down. Rias wiped it away. Rias, but I wasn't hurt. Issei, but I won't risk it. If my inner hollow takes over then. Rias, it's okay. We'll be there for you just like you have been for us. Issei, thanks, Rias. Rias, Issei, I have a two-part final request. Issei, sure, anything. Rias, 1, please just call me by my name regardless of the circumstances. Issei, done, and the second. Rias, 1 final kiss. Issei is a bit taken back by her request. Issei, even after what I said. Rias, yes, we both kiss one last time and pour our heart into it till there's nothing left. Issei looked at her eyes and then her lips. Issei, okay Rias, I accept. Rias, thank you. They locked eyes and held each other. They inched closer, and the second they kissed they closed their eyes. That final kiss was full of their love for each other, and once that kiss breaks, their love life will end. They held nothing back. This was a final goodbye to their feelings for each other. After what seemed like eternity, they broke their kiss. It's done. Rias then looked at the reflection of the sun in his eyes. Rias, so see you at school after the weekend. Issei, yeah, I'll see you guys there. Rias walks away. Drake, are you okay, partner? Issei, yeah. Drake, if I may ask, why not stay with at least one of them? Issei, no favoritism, it'll just cause more trouble. Drake, but you found love, Issei. You sure it was wise to let it go? Issei, finding love where it shouldn't be is love not meant to last. I don't care if I'm the villain, at least they won't hate each other. Drake, damn, never thought you would be willing to go that far. Issei, I feel more clear in mind and heart now. Drake, go rest, Issei, you earned it. Part 6, Kyoto Plan. Rias went home to the others who stayed up all night waiting for her after Akino, Kiba and Kaneko came back so soon. They all looked with one question in their minds. What happened? Kiba started off with the explanation, and then Rias slowly continues from where he left off, after she told them everything. Rosswace, he really has changed. Ravel, at least he's still with us as our comrade and friend. Asia, so he's no longer in love with any of us. Gasper, I miss the old him. Aquino, as do we, but it's because of some of us that he's changed so much so soon. Rias, the one man who loved us unconditionally and didn't care if we were a fallen, a devil, a phoenix, angel, or anything. He used to love us for us, he still does, but no longer the way he used to. Irina, can you blame him? We weren't exactly the most supportive when he was afraid to confess. Zenobia, now that Issei mentioned it, he's right. I wasn't in love with him. After the whole cockabeel incident, I tried to have my way with him only to have strong kids. I didn't love him like the rest of you did. Fuck, I'm a horrible friend. Gasper, so where is he now? Rias, no idea honestly. He sat on the bench even after I left. Kaneko, shouldn't we look for him? Kiba, no need, he needs his space. Let's respect that. Rias, yeah, let's just rest for today and start training tomorrow. The raiding game is coming up. Everyone, yes. Issei decided to go for a walk after sitting on that bench all night. As he walked, he felt better about how it all went down. He was more at peace now than before. After a while of walking aimlessly, he ended up right where it all began, the park where Raynare murdered him and where Rias brought him back. Dedrag, what are you thinking, Issei? Issei, everything. Dedrag, do you feel sorry for them or yourself? Issei, no, I'm not sorry for what I did, just sorry that I had to do it. Dedrag, Issei, you've been up all night, go sleep, you need to train soon. Issei, I'll go to a hotel for the day, leave the others alone for a while. Dedrag, wise choice. Honestly, I think you've grown a lot in the past 2 months and handled everything as well as one can considering everything. Issei, yeah, me too, no more pervert stuff, people like me more because of it. I have good friends who were by my side the whole time I was down in the dumps, and that includes you, Dedrag. Thank you. Dedrag, what are partners for? Issei smiles and books a hotel room for a day and rests, and finally without nightmares. By the end of the day, Issei woke up, paid, and left for home. As soon as he walked in, his parents greeted him. Mickey, welcome home. Issei, glad to be home. Garu, where have you been? The girls are all upset. Issei, I decided that my relationships with them should be platonic. Mickey, wait, what? I thought you loved them. Issei, I do love them, but not the way you think. Garu, what about Rias? Issei, I'm not in love with her anymore. Both parents, what? Issei, yeah, I'm done with love, sex, porn, everything. I got rid of all that crap in my room too. Mickey, I don't know if I should be worried or proud. Issei, what will happen to the girls living here? Issei, no need to worry, we are all still a family in a way, just don't expect any grandkids from me. Sorry. Garu, Issei, we love those girls as our own, but you're our son. Tell us what happened. Issei, long story short, I'm not compatible with any of them as a lover. Asia is like a little sister. Irina is my childhood friend. The others, well, it just didn't work out and my love life with them reached their end. I don't want to hurt them. Mickey hugs Issei. Mickey, Issei, I know that there's more to it, Issei, but do tell us when you want to talk, okay? Issei hugs back. Issei, I promise when the time is right, I'll tell you both everything. They break their hug. Issei, there's something you should know. I have to go to Kyoto again. Sensei says that he needs my help. Garu, how long will you be gone? Issei, 3 weeks mostly. Mickey, that long? Issei, relax mom, it's just work, kind of like an internship. Garu, I hope you don't get involved with anything bad. Issei, I'll be fine, there are a lot of kind people there and it's beautiful. Mickey, who's going with you? Issei, besides Sensei, not sure yet. Mickey, well, call us and let us know if you want to talk or need anything, okay? Issei, sure mom. Garu, dinner will be ready soon. Issei nods and goes to his room. He takes a shower and changes his clothes, then starts packing. After doing so, he calls Azazel. Azazel, I assume you're ready to train in Kyoto. Issei, yeah, when do we leave? Azazel, tomorrow if possible. Issei, I already packed. They end the call and Issei exits his room and bumps into Roswace. Roswace, Issei, you're back. Issei, yeah, but I'm leaving for Kyoto tomorrow with Azazel. Roswace, I'm going with you. Issei, suit yourself. Roswace, we should tell the others. Issei, I'll tell them, come on, they are waiting. They both have dinner with everyone, and there's a silence that was as tense as it can be. Issei, guys, I'm going to Kyoto with Azazel tomorrow and Rossways tagged along. Rias, Aquino and I can come with if you want. Issei, thanks, but you two need to prepare for graduation. It's a big day for you too. Rias, oh right, I almost forgot. Issei helped with the dishes and then went to bed still sleepy even after sleeping almost the whole day. They did notice the dark circles under his eyes but already knew the cause. The next day, Issei said farewell to everyone and secretly teleported to Kyoto with Rossways. Azazel was already there waiting for them. Azazel, I'm glad Rossways came along. It's good to have someone we can trust. You ready, Issei? Issei, as I'll ever be. Let's do this. They walk to the shrine and are greeted by Yasaka. Yasaka, welcome Red Dragon Emperor, Governor General and Lady Valkyrie. Issei, thank you for having us, Lady Yasaka. Issei and the others bowed in respect. Yasaka, being one with the natural flow of energy of the earth and those who inhabit it, sensed something different about Issei. He was much too different in such a short amount of time. Yasaka, Azazel told me about the hollow biting you. You wish to control it, don't you? Issei, I do. I won't turn into one and hurt my loved ones. Yasaka, well, you came to the perfect place. One of our own was born with hollow powers and mastered it. Azazel, born with hollow powers, that's a first. Yasaka, come, it's best to meet her yourself. Issei says to himself, her. His fear kicked in, but he didn't want it to take control like before. He powered through it even when his heart was beating fast. They follow her deep into their territory and come to a stop in front of a small house. Yasaka, we are here. She knocks on the door, which opens mere seconds later. A beautiful woman was the one who opened the door, and her beauty was above even Rias and Aquino combined. Azazel, oh my. Azazel had a little blush, but surprisingly Issei didn't. Well, not that surprising when you think about it. Yasaka, everyone meet Ari. She's the one who mastered her hollow powers all on her own. Ari, you really are too kind, Lady Yasaka. Yasaka, Ari, this is Issei Hayato, the Red Dragon Emperor, accompanied by the Governor General of the Fallen Angels and Rossways the Valkyrie. Ari, it's an honor to meet you all. The three bow. The honor is ours. Ari, so how may I help you? Azazel, Issei was bitten by a hollow and his mask already appeared once. We need him to learn to control it to avoid letting the inner hollow control him. Ari, I can help, but I need to know a few things. 1. When was he bitten? Issei, a little over a month ago. Ari, in what type of hollow? Azazel, Vasto Lorde. Ari's eyes widened and her ears pointed backwards. Her 9 snow-white tails stiffen. Ari, how are you still alive after encountering one of those? Issei, that's just it. It turned to dust after it bit me. Ari, good, that's good. Rossways, please explain. Ari, that means the Vasto Lorde barely had any energy left and transferred whatever it have to Issei, but it grows over time until it reaches its prime. It can be controlled little by little, but... Yasaka, but... Ari, you possess that particular sacred gear. If you lose control, then you would turn into a Vasto Lorde that commands the boosted gear. I don't have to tell you what would happen. Azazel, Issei's power would be limitless and unstoppable. Rossways, in other words, we're all done for. Issei, when do we start training? Ari, right away. It's important and it'll be far from easy. Issei, I expected nothing less. Is it possible to learn to control it within 3 weeks? Ari, I hope so. I know you have a rating game to attend. Azazel, if you don't mind, would you show us what controlled hollow powers look like? Ari, sure. Ari, Tada. Issei, I can't sense your power even though I know you're stronger in that form. Ari, just one of the tricks you learn in time. Yasaka, Ari, I'll leave the Red Dragon Emperor in your care. One of his companions will be by his side just in case. Ari, better safe than sorry. Issei, thank you for helping me, Lady Ari. Ari, oh please, just Ari is fine. Come inside, there's an underground training space. Issei bows to Yasaka and enters. Once the door closes, her smile disappeared and a serious look appears. Yasaka, a Vasto Lord, please tell me I don't need to worry. Azazel, that's why we are here. Yasaka, well, how did one appear in the human world? Azazel, telling you that would raise more questions as to how Issei encountered one. Let's talk over tea. Rossways, I'll stay here. Azazel, we won't be far. Call us in case you need our help. Rossways, right. Part 7, Self-Control. Ari, okay, so Red Dragon Emperor, let's start. Issei, what's the first step? Ari, alright, I'll make it brief. There are a few things you must know. 1. You can only master the power to its current level. Once the hollow within gets to its prime, you have to find a way to master that, but there's where you'll be on your own. Issei, what? Ari, I was born with hollow powers equal to an Arankar max, but you were bitten by the strongest there is, a Vasto Lord. Issei, so what do you think my current level is? Ari, according to Azazel, the mask appeared, which means that you're at a lower class Menos, but still you need to control it. Issei, and how do I control a creature that is nothing but hate and bloodlust? Ari, that's where it gets interesting. Not all hollows are like that. Most contain some aspects of their memories or personality. Also, it's not just some creature, it's you. Issei. Ari, the hollow powers are a part of me and now a part of you. You and the hollow are two sides of the same coin. D-Drag, interesting, this does simplify things. Issei, to an extent, so do I look inside myself or meditate? Ari's, yup, the hollow within you is a manifestation of your hate and anger. How you control it will be up to you. Rossways, should I put up a barrier? Ari, yes, this process can be a bit dangerous for everyone, to be honest. Issei will have his internal struggle while we try to avoid an external one. Issei, then I better get started. Issei sits on the ground and begins to meditate. Rossways creates a barrier, and a very strong one. Ari, can he hear us from inside the dome? Rossways, no. Ari, good. Now, if it's not too much to ask, how did he get bitten by a Vasto Lord of all hollows, especially in the human world? Rossways, I may be out of place for doing this, but I think you should know. Here's what happened. With Azazel and Yasaka. Azazel, I'm sure you noticed a lot of change in him. Yasaka, still serious. Yasaka, how could I not? Just a little over a month ago, he was the strong, optimistic Red Dragon Emperor that saved me from the Chaos Brigade with the help of his friends, and how there's barely a shred of that left in him. What happened to him? Azazel, a misunderstanding that led to a deep, dark truth being revealed, which led to him being heartbroken yet again before the old wound even fully healed. Yasaka, Azazel, I'll tell you everything over tea. You have the right to know since you agreed to help us. Yasaka, I couldn't really refuse since all of you helped save me in Kyoto. Azazel, which reminds me, where's Kuno? Yasaka, I sent her somewhere safe. She really looks up to Issei, and his current state would scare her, I fear. Azazel, it scared us too. The two had tea, and Azazel told her everything, from Issei being hunted down by the Fallen to his current state. Azazel knew about how Issei broke off the intimate relationship with the girls, but didn't feel like it was his place to say it, but Yasaka figured it out on her own. Yasaka, I assume he longer loves the girls like before. Azazel, that's correct. Yasaka, and what about the girls who didn't hurt him like they did? Azazel, it's a strictly platonic relationship at this point. He's too afraid now. He discarded his dream of having a harem completely and no longer has any interest in even looking at girls the way teenage boys should. Just before the incident, that's all he thought about, but now. Yasaka, what about the scars on his face? Did the hollow cause that? Azazel, no, it was Rias. She hit him when she got emotional after Issei was scared of confessing. Yasaka, I'm surprised he hasn't killed Rias' Gremory at this point. Azazel, he almost did. Yasaka nearly spit out her tea. Azazel, when his hollow powers manifested, everyone came to stop him, including Rias. He straight up attacked her, and if it weren't for the others, then she would be dead, and so would he, since a devil killing or abandoning their master marks them as strays. Yasaka, so to avoid causing more pain he came to us. I can't imagine the pain he's in. Azazel, far too much, but he has friends and family helping it out. Just one of the few reasons he hasn't gone full hollow yet. Yasaka, I'm glad he's not alone. His anger and loneliness would have been the death of him and us. Azazel, indeed, a Vasto Lord combined with the boosted gear, his power would have reached Devil King or greater easily. Yasaka, a terrifying thought indeed. Back with Issei in his training. Issei sat in silence and looked deep inside of his subconscious. He looked around and saw all his memories, everything he experienced, everything he felt. He got lost in his memories of his old life until he saw the ones he dreaded. Raynare killing him, Rias reviving him, using him, loving him, all the others who were there but hid the truth, and some of them completely turned him into a villain, made him feel like shit. All those negative emotions came rushing back. Then he saw darkness. What emerged from the darkness was a figure, the very same one that bit him. It charged at Issei with great speed. He dodged it, but barely. Issei summoned his boosted gear, but it didn't appear. Issei, what the? D-Drag, I need your help here, D-Drag. No response, only the blood-curdling screech from the hollow echoed through his subconscious. Issei, looks like I'm on my own. Come on, you bastard. Issei engaged at hand-to-hand combat. Outside. Rossways, so that's what happened. Ari just looks down in sadness. Ari, damn, it's a miracle that he hasn't gone full hollow after all that. Since he's so afraid of women, then how is he here asking for my help? Rossways, he was shaking bit even when Lady Yasaka or you and I were close by. You may not have noticed, but I did. Thankfully, he knows that he has a problem and is trying to overcome it. Ari, how is he recovering? On his own. Rossways, he isn't alone. Ari, I'm glad that he had good friends. Rossways, if we really were good friends, then he wouldn't be in this situation. Rossways was now sad that she too was a comrade and his friend, but didn't help him when he needed it. None of them are paying attention until they hear a growl. They both look at Issei as the growl came from him. They saw it, the same mask appearing again, but there's more. It's beginning to cover parts of his torso, slowly spreading to his neck, then to his back. Ari, oh shit. Rossways, what do we do? Ari, reinforce the barrier. If that fails, we'll need to call for Lady Yasaka and Azazel. Rossways creates more barriers just in case and then calls for them to rush over. They arrive in under a minute since they couldn't teleport in due to anti-teleportation ruins all over the room. Azazel, what is hap? Oh shit. Yasaka, we should stop him. Ari, not yet. Issei is still in control to an extent. Rossways, how can you tell? Ari, with his current level, he would have busted the barriers by now and used the boosted gear. Azazel, so what's happening to Issei? Is this part of the process? Ari, yes, he's fighting the hollow within him. In Issei's subconscious. Issei was actually holding his own, but just not enough to overpower him. The hollow wasn't slowing down. It may be the same one that bit him, but it was strong enough to push him into a corner slowly. Issei eventually saw an opening and elbowed it right in the face, which began to crack. The hollow stopped, and half of what he now knows was a mask, but what was behind the mask was the real shocker. Issei saw himself, his hollow self. His hollow self looked at him and smiled. Issei, who are you? Hollow Issei, Hi, isn't it obvious? I'm you. Issei, like hell you are. Issei started fighting his hollow self with more rage, more power. Hi, that's right, keep fighting. I love it. Issei shot UP. Outside. Issei was looking more like a hollow with each moment. Issei let out a sound that was a mix of his voice and the hollow. His gauntlet appeared. Azazel DDRAIG. Daydrag, I'm trying AZAZEL. I can't reach, but I can stop HIM from using MY power as much as I can, but it's becoming too much. Yasaka, we have to stop him. Ari, we have no choice. Better safe than sorry. Ari hollow feed entering through a hole Rossways made in the barrier, followed by Azazel and Yasaka. Once they entered, Issei was even more terrifying up close. He looked at them. They began to try their best to retrain him without injury, but he was growing stronger. Boost. D-Drag, everyone stop holding back cause he's not. Azazel, damn it, balance break. Azazel now and his artificial balance breaker tackled Issei and then slashed him with his golden spear. It wounded Issei, but it healed instantly like a phoenix heals. Ari, high-speed regeneration, he's just full of surprises. Azazel, let me try. Ari in her follow forms used her Zero merged with Sage magic. Ari Flame Zero. She launched an attack while Yasaka bound Issei using magic seals. Azazel used gravity magic to keep him from moving. Rossway still trying to maintain the barriers from collapsing due to everything happening. Inside Issei's subconscious. Issei, just go away. Hi no can do, I'm a part of you now. Issei, I hate you. Hi, do you hate me or yourself since we're both the same person? Issei froze. Issei. Hollow Issei also stopped fighting. Hi, figure it out yet? No, well we can fight again next time, toodles. Issei, wait, get back here, I want answers. Hi, I'm you, whatever you know I know, so ask yourself, our time for today is up. Issei is then forced out of his subconscious before he can register what happened. He wakes up and sees the four around him as he found himself laying on the ground. Ari, welcome back, how do you feel? Issei, I'm somewhat okay. He gets up and looks around. Issei, what the hell happened here? Yasaka, you nearly turned into a hollow and almost took us down. Issei, wait, all four of you. Rosswace, you grew more powerful every minute. Ari, and did so by using D-Drake's power, who was also trying to stop you from using him. Issei, I'm so sorry. Yasaka, it's okay, we knew the risks. Ari, take a break for now, then tell me what you experienced. Issei, why wait, I fought my doppelganger. Well, the hollow inside of me, it looked like me but was more ruthless and bloodthirsty and downright cryptic. Or should I say I attacked myself and it was all very confusing. Yasaka. Azazel. Ari, rest for now, we can talk about it after you eat something. You have been in your hollow state for a few hours now. Issei, hours, it felt like a few moments in my subconscious. Ari, which is another plane if existence if you ask me, haha. Issei returns a small smile. Issei, with so many supernatural beings and multiple dimensions, makes sense. Ha. Azazel saw Issei smile again. Just a few hours ago he was shaking. He was proud that Issei was already making progress in more ways than one. Azazel, glad you're okay, kiddo. Part 8, Acceptance. For the whole week Issei trained, but it was the same result each time. Ari, Rosswace, Azazel, and Yasaka all had to restrain Issei and break his mask every time he lost control. Issei lay in deep though. Every time he fought his hollow self he would get the same response from it. All that you know is all that I know, but the difference is that I'm what you're afraid of the most. Issei, what did he mean by that? Ari, still confused, huh? Issei, oh hey Ari. Ari, what's going through the mind of the Graben dragon this time? Issei, please don't call me that, I hate it. Ari, oh that's right, you hate what you used to be. Issei, who told you, Azazel or Rosswace? Ari, the latter. Issei, right. Ari, you are overthinking it. Issei, how so? Ari, I can't tell you, if I did that then you'll never master the power within. Issei, yeah, that's fine. Ari looks at Issei as he stares off into the distance. She noticed the 3 scars on his cheek. She whispers to herself. Ari, how did I not notice that he has the same marks as I do? Ari, hey Issei, funny thing. Issei, this ought to be good. Ari, we have the same marks on our cheeks, and you also have similar marks when your mask appears. Issei touches the 3 scars that Rias gave him, and it just reminded him of everything. Ari saw the look of despair in his eyes, and her ears dropped at her failed attempt to lighten the mood. Ari, looks like I brought up some bad memories, sorry. Issei, don't be, no one lives a perfect life, this is just a part of mine. Ari, Issei, I know you're still hurting inside. Issei, but I forgave them, I still care for them and want all of us to be together. Ari, but did you forgive yourself? Issei, forgive myself. Ari, yes, you made some mistakes in your past. You were extremely perverted, but you're miserable now. You're angry about everything and you hate yourself, don't you? Issei, Ari, forgive yourself and accept it. Issei, how can I? My perverted nature affected the entire underworld, those poor kids, almost all the women in my team and many others I mostly thought about adding to my harem. I thought about them as objects to fulfill my own desires, damn it. Ari, but you still loved them. You saw them as the people they were, not the titles they carry. You were kind to them, and from what I heard, you refused to make a move because you knew it wasn't the right time or place. You're a good man, Issei. Don't let the dark consume the light. You deserve love too. Ari gives Issei a quick kiss on the cheek, then walks away. Issei placed his hand on his cheek and thinks. Issei, her kiss was softer than any of the other girls. Forgive myself, huh? Dedrag, what are you thinking, Issei? Issei, nothing really. It's a whim, but it's something worth trying. Dedrag, shouldn't we call the others first? Issei, no need. I think this might work. Dedrag, charging in without a plan or backup. There's the partner I know, haha. Issei, huh? Issei begins to meditate and enters his subconscious. Hi, back so soon. Issei, I want to talk. Hi, oh, that's a first. Issei, I know what you are now. Most importantly, I know who you are. Hi, do tell. Issei, you're me. Hi, I've been telling you that all week, dumbass. Issei, you're also the part of me I'm scared of. The anger, the sorrow, the bloodlust, all of it. Hi, now we're getting somewhere. Took quite a while for the obvious to sink in. Issei walks closer to him. Issei, I want to thank you. Hi, wait, what? Issei, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have gotten stronger. I wouldn't be alive. Hollow Issei was now getting irritated. Hi, cut the sentimental crap before I cut you down. Fight me. Issei, no, I'm done fighting. I won't fight myself. It won't get me anywhere in life. Hi, why aren't you attacking me? I nearly killed you every time we fought and took over your body. Nearly used your sacred gear against everyone. Issei, you mean those who hurt me? Hi, huh, what? Issei smiled. Issei, you were trying to protect me, weren't you? That day when the mask appeared and you tried to slash Rias. Hi. Issei, I owe you big time, you know. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't have been able to protect those who are previous to me as much as I did. Hi, enough. Hollow Issei tried to punch Issei, but Issei smiled and hugged his hollow self. Issei, thank you. I wouldn't be here without you, so thank you. Hi, you finally figured it out. The hollow Issei's mask started to crack and crumbled away, revealing a hollow's eyes crying tears of joy. Hi, I'm happy that you finally accept me. Take my power. No, take our power and show the world not to mess with the Red Dragon Emperor, but know this, you're part of the generation which grows strong quicker than most. You will without question get more than you bargained for. Hollow Issei disappeared, leaving Issei alone in his subconscious, but with a heart that is now whole once again. Issei exits his subconscious and wakes up in the real world better than ever. Issei can feel the power his other self left for him. He knows what he has to do. Issei places his hand on his face and manifests the mask. It appears and he feels the power go through him. Dedrag, incredible such power. You have surpassed the armor promotions greatly. Congratulations. Issei lets out a victory roar which scares the other four and makes them rush over. They appear behind him. Azazel, oh no, the mask has appeared. Issei turns around. Issei, hey everyone. Yasaka, Issei, you did it. Issei, yes. Ari's how? Issei, I have you to thank for that. Ari blushed slightly. Ari, how did I do that exactly? Ari was still confused how just a while ago Issei was losing control, and now he's mastered it. Issei, your advice on forgiving myself and accepting what I am. Rossways end. Issei, I am a hollow, the Red Dragon Emperor, a pawn of Rias' Gremory, and most importantly, I'm me, and that's what I accept and embraced. They all smiled. Rossways, welcome back, Issei. Issei, thank you, and Ari. Ari's, yeah. Issei, what's the next step of my training? Ari, timing, let's see how long you can wear that mask. The more you practice, the longer you can use your hollow feed state. Let's start right away. Only 2 weeks till the rating game, you know. Issei, let's do this. Both start their training. Ari hollow feed herself to match Issei. Issei thinks to himself. Issei, so glad she can't see my red face right now. Damn, she's cute. D-Drag, I think she's a better fit for you than the others. Haha. Issei, focus, D-Drag. D-Drag, usually I'm the one telling you to focus. They begin with practicing increasing Issei's time limit, then later how he can use a scalon combined with his hollow powers, and same with the dragon shot. Issei didn't risk using balance breaker because he wanted to go step by step. The warning from his inner hollow self burned into his memory. Combining hollow powers with D-Drag's powers might be too much. This continued for almost 2 weeks. He could wear his mask for at least an hour, and his energy-based attacks were now blackish red. His secondary dragon shot type attack was now called Zero Shot, and the slash wave released from a scalon is called Hollow Dragon Talon. Issei changed his dress break to spell break. He could nullify small attacks based on energy and magic, but physical attacks and weapons were not affected. The two had a break after Issei hit his limit. Ari, I'll get us something to eat. Be right back. Issei, I'll just huff here. Ari giggled. After she left the training zone, Issei caught his breath and felt bad that Ari is doing too much and he's just sitting here. Issei got up and went to go help her, and when he reached the kitchen he heard singing. It was Ari who was singing. Issei was charmed by her voice, and she didn't have to put a spell on him for that. Issei loved every second of her singing, but once she finished, Issei entered the kitchen and started helping even though she told him to rest. Issei, this may be sudden, but I heard you singing and you have talent. Would be okay if I could hear you sing again. Ari blushed at the compliment. She didn't know Issei heard her sing, but was glad someone loved it. His ability to hide his presence was very impressive. Ari, I don't see why not. Roswace, Azazel, and Yasaka were now no longer worried. Roswace went on a shopping spree anywhere there was a sale. Azazel got to relax in Kyoto, and Yasaka brought Kanu back home. In those remaining 2 weeks, Issei and Ari got to spend time with her and each other. One day before they leave, Issei and Ari stayed up to watch the shooting stars. Ari, beautiful. Issei, yeah, hey, if you don't mind me asking, how were you born with hollow powers? Ari, just before I was born, my mother was bitten by a hollow. People of my kind stopped it from killing us both. After I was born, my mother was too weak to continue living. All her energy was used up bringing me into the world and keeping herself from turning into a hollow. She resisted till the end. Issei, I'm sorry. Ari, no need. It's a fair question. As far as we know, you and I are two of a kind. Issei saw her blush a little even under the starlight. He thanked his lucky stars for his ability to see in the dark. Ari, Issei, will you visit again soon? Issei, I believe I will. After all your help and Lady Yasaka helping me, I owe you both a great deal. Ari's then wanna go on a date after your rating game. Issei, you know, I would love to. I'm not afraid anymore. Ari, you just said, you know, copycat. Issei laughed, sly but cute fox. Ari looked gorgeous in the starlight. He then felt something. It was love for her, and this time it's a real connection, unlike what he used to have with the others. Issei, you were right, us being two of a kind. Ari. Issei, we are hollows with hearts. Ari, hollows with hearts, that is the most beautiful sentence I've ever heard. Who knew the Red Dragon Emperor was quiet the poet? Both leaning on each other and enjoying the night. The next morning, Issei, Azazel, and Roswace, who was now carrying dozens of shopping bags, said farewell and went home. Azazel opened the door for Roswace. She goes in holding quiet a few bags, and Issei brings in the rest. Issei, want to stay for lunch, Azazel? Azazel, thanks for the offer, but I've been away from the Grigori for 3 weeks. I got a lot of catching up to do. Issei, just drop in case you want to take the offer. Azazel, sure kid, take care. Azazel leaves Issei and Roswace at his house. The two go straight to her room, and Issei helps her unpack everything. Roswace, thanks for helping me unpack. Issei, no problem. Roswace, Suwuwu, did a certain cute fox catch your eye? She winks, causing Issei to go completely red. Issei, not gonna lie, I'm going on a date with her after the raiding game. The others immediately burst in. Rias, what? Issei, and well, hello to you too. Part 9, let the games begin. Issei, well, hello to you too. Rias, you're going on a date just weeks after breaking up with us. What the hell, Issei? Issei, okay, first of all, I just got back home after 3 whole weeks and this is what you do. Second, we're done, remember. Whomever I date isn't anyone's concern but my own. And another thing, why do you all randomly burst in through the door? Should I put salt lines under the door now? Rias came to realize as soon as he got home, she questioned him without welcoming him home after 3 whole weeks. Rias, right, sorry. Rias turns around and was about to exit. Issei, wait, here. Issei opens a portal to a pocket dimension and pulls out a few bags. Issei, I got some souvenirs for everyone. This one is for you, Rias. You still collecting animal figurines, right? This little rabbit is the latest addition. Rias holds the little glass rabbit figurine. Rias, thank you, Issei, and welcome home. Issei, thanks, glad to be back. Alright, everyone grab your stuff, I'm going to check on mom and dad. Irina, hey wait, you didn't tell us how your training went. Did you control that power? Issei smirked, then manifested the mask, but kept his eyes closed to avoid scaring the others, especially after how they feared him last time. Issei, yeah, it's all under control, Irina. Issei makes the mask disappear. Issei, have fun, you guys. Akino, Issei, you didn't call us for 3 whole weeks. Do you still hate us? Issei, honestly, no, not anymore. I did some soul searching and I'm okay now and I'm not lying, Akino. Gasper, so what now? Kaneko, Issei will tell us about this new girl. Issei, not a girl, a woman. He blushed a bit and smiled as he placed a hand where she kissed him. Issei, an incredible woman. Issei then leaves to see his parents. Rias was hurt that Issei found someone so quickly. He referred to her as an amazing woman. He never said that to her. Perhaps he was too afraid at the time. Asia, he moved on. Zenovia still kind of missed the attention he gave us though, but it's for the best. Ravel, so Rosways, how did Issei control his powers? Rosways, I don't know how he did it cause Azazel, Lady Yasaka and I weren't around him at the time, but after he did control it, he looked happier. I can tell you what we experienced when in the first week. He trained the other 2 weeks to extend the amount of time he can use his hollow powers. Kiba, now the other real question on everyone's mind. Rosways, the girl. Everyone, the girl. Rosways, haha, nope, I don't know much about her, sorry. She says teasingly, then left the room with a skip on her step. Akino, well, she's definitely giddy. Being around all those happy yokai children must be the cause. Akino, I wonder about the new girl though. Issei goes to see his parents and tells them about Kyoto. He told them that the internship was a type of self-management and helping others with it. It wasn't a complete lie, so they believed it. Issei brought a lot of desserts from there and Kaneko can be seen eating sweets in her natural habitat. After Issei unpacked and did what he needed to do, he went to the others and prepared for the raiding game. The day arrived and they went to the underworld. They got through all the formalities and then the game began. Team Rias versus Team Bale, both teams on opposing sides of the large platform. Issei looks like someone got a new pawn. Akino, Saror got a trump card too, it seems. Issei, haha, I welcome it. Azazel, greetings everyone. I'm Azazel and I'll be in charge of commentary. Team Rias, of course he is. Azazel, looks like we are in for a surprise, folks. On Team Gremory we have the Red Dragon Emperor and on Team Bale we have a new member, but next to nothing is known about him. Looks like Saror came prepared with his own trump card for the fight. Now without any further delay, begin. Azazel, alright, next up is Pawn of Team Gremory versus Bishop of Team Bale. Sarorg, my bishop and I came up with a way to take you down. Issei, this should be interesting. Balance break. Dedrag, Welsh Dragon balance breaker. Issei now and his balance breaker faces the Bale bishop. Sarorg's bishop is a beautiful woman with an hourglass figure and long wavy blonde hair. She looks at Issei seductively and begins to strip. Azazel, what the? Rias, Sarorg, what is the meaning of this? Sarorg, the perfect way to take Issei down. Issei at face palm. The sound of metal hitting metal was echoing due to silence. Bishop, what's the matter, Red Dragon Emperor? Do you not want to ravage me? She caresses her almost completely nude body in front of him. Issei lol nope. Issei appears behind her and knocks her out with a chop to the nape. Sarorg, well, that was unexpected. Issei then spreads his wings over her as to avoid any further embarrassment for everyone. Issei, that would have worked on the old me, but no more. I'm not the foolish pervert I used to be. The crowd went nuts at the revelation. The Graben dragon changed. The kids were slightly disappointed but still cheered for Issei. He was in awe about how the kids instantly accepted the new him completely. Sarorg, you changed a lot, Issei, and in so little time. Care to share? Issei, beat me and I'll talk. Sarorg, very well then. Azazel, things are getting heated up now. On to the next match. Aquino was against Sarorg's queen and lost. Zenobia, Roswace, and Kiba fought Sarorg and lost despite their best efforts. Issei was now getting a little pissed off and eager to beat Sarorg now. Azazel, next match, Issei was Kyoto Abaddon. Aquino may have lost to her, but will the Red Dragon Emperor win? Begin. Issei, please put all your power into defense if you want to survive. Kyoto, tough talk kid. Issei, I warned you. D-Drag, balance breaker. Issei, promotion knight. Issei's armor changed to his aerodynamic thin armor and charges at her full speed. She couldn't even register his speed before Issei stopped right in front of her. Issei, promotion to Rook. Issei now again changing his armor to bulky and more durable with greatly enhanced strength, punched Kyoto directly, but he hit nothing. He only saw her disappearing into a green light. Azazel, I see that happened here. Sarorg, I made her retire. That punch would have killed her. Issei, I can see it, the anger in you, the hatred for me after how my match against your team went down. Issei, I apologize, my anger took over. I was saving my new armor promotions for you, but looks like the secret's out. Sarorg, right. Sarorg then says to those watching and to those in charge. Sarorg, I request a battle royal, 2 kings vs 2 PAWNS. The crowd cheers at the idea. Azazel, I have just received the news and it has been decided. The battle royal has been granted. Rias, Asia, I want you to stay behind. I'm sorry if my words seem cruel, but this will be a tough fight. Asia, I understand. Please be careful. Rias and Issei, along with Sarorg and his pawn, are teleported to a field surrounded by a barrier strong enough to endure their battle. Issei, so who's your pawn? Sarorg, I'll show you. Do it regulas. The pawn transforms from human into a very large golden lion. Azazel, is that the lion of Enemia? Sarorg, yes, my sacred gear and pawn. I found him and added him into my peerage. This is my surprise. Rias, Issei, fight the lion, you can have Sarorg. Issei, let's go this, balance breaker promotion knight. D-Drag, Welsh Dragon balance breaker promotion, Welsh Sonic boost knight. Issei charged with nearly supersonic speeds, then promoted to Rook and engaged in a fist fight against Sarorg. Rias kept the lion at bay using her power of destruction. Issei's Rook armor was dishing out heavy damage, but so was Sarorg. The crowd went wild at the scene. The shockwaves from each punch thrown was as rapid as a machine gun. Both were still at it even after showing signs of fatigue. Before Sarorg could throw another punch, the lion of Nemia crashed into him. He got up and looked at Rias and Issei still standing while his knees were beginning to shake. Lion Master, please don me. Sarorg, no, I told you that it'll only happen if there's an emergency in the underworld. Issei, do it. Rias, Issei, are you crazy? This decision could kill you. Issei, we promised to fight each other at our best. Sorry, Rias. Come on, Sarorg, don him and fight me without holding back. Sarorg, haha, it seems I owe you an apology. Issei, I did hold back but no more. Regulas, balance break. The lion became a suit of golden armor for Sarorg, and his power increased exponentially. Rias, still going to fight him? Issei, yeah. Issei boosted his power to his limit and charged in. Sarorg blocked, and with a small punch Issei's armor was shattered and he was sent flying backwards. Rias Issei. She ran to him and checked that he wasn't injured, just lots of bruises. His armor took most of the damage. Rias, you doing okay? Issei, yeah, but my body is aching from the pain. How many phoenix tears do we have? Rias, 2. Issei, mind if I have one? Rias, half sure. Issei. Issei takes a phoenix tear and drinks. His bruises heal and his energy replenished. Sarorg, so do you give up? Issei. Issei, like hell, I also have another trick up my sleeve. Issei gets up and walks forward, then summons his mask after dispelling his armor. Sarorg, what the hell? Issei, get ready, a scallon. D-drag blade. Issei grabs a scallon when released from his sacred gear. Issei disappeared from sight in an instant and reappeared behind Sarorg ready to slash him. Sarorg couldn't react in time and was cut by a scallon. The mane of his Regula's armor was cut clean off, revealing the long slash mark on his back. Sarorg jumped forward to avoid another attack. Sarorg, what kind of power is this? Issei said with his dual hollow voice. Issei, this is my trump card should my promotions not be enough. It's my hollow physician, and that move from earlier is called flash step. Rias, who taught you that? Issei, a very cute fox in Kyoto. Ari really is an excellent teacher. Rias, so that's her name. Sarorg, you continue to surprise me, Hayato. Now that I know how fast you are, I can fight accordingly. Bring it on, those eyes tell me to go all out. Issei once again used flash step and slashed at Sarorg, who was able to block Issei's attack this time. He caught Issei's arm and punched him in the face. A part of the mask was broken, but Issei repaired it. Issei's durability in this state was good, all things considering. His training paid off. Issei and Sarorg were now in close combat again, but this time Sarorg had to avoid getting cut down too. Sarorg needed to get some distance to think of a plan. He saw Rias not too far away. He condensed some energy in his fist and launched it at Issei. He dodged. Issei, you missed. Sarorg wasn't aiming for you. Issei looks behind him and sees the condensed energy moving towards Rias. Issei, no. Issei appears in front of her and takes the hit. Rias, Issei. Issei looks up at her. Ikigo equals Issei and Orihime equals Rias. Rias thoughts, those eyes, they scare me. I see the anger, I see so much, and they see right through me. Issei, I'm sorry, I wish I could take it all back. Rias was scared silent by the terrifying look in his eyes. He obviously saw that he was scaring her, so he went back to fight Sarorg. Issei, that was a dirty trick. Sarorg, sorry, but I was never planning on actually let her get hit. She is family and I'm here to fight you too. I just needed some time to figure out how to beat you. Issei, then I'm going to take you down before you can take us down. Get ready. Issei powers up and combines his Zero with a scallon. Issei Hollow Dragon Talon. Issei released the blackish red energy wave that hit Sarorg directly and damaged his armor. Issei constantly used flash step and Zero shots. The barrage of attacks continued to damage Sarorg beyond his expectations. Rias, wow. The crowd was going nuts. Azazel, I knew he was strong, but this is unbelievable. Sarorg is having one tough time. Sarorg was not getting frustrated but hanging in there. Sarorg, why aren't you using the power of your sacred gear like I am? Issei, I can't risk that. This power is new to me, so if I combine it with Daidrags, then who knows what will happen. Sarorg, then you won't be able to win. I won't let you take me down. Overdrive. Sarorg was now going into overdrive, using all of his energy and even a bit of his life force to become stronger. Too strong for Issei to handle now. Issei, oh shit. Rias, Issei, watch out. Issei, huh. Just then Sarorg seemingly teleported to Issei and punched his right through his chest. The crowd went silent as they saw red wings emerge from Issei's back. No, that was his blood spraying everywhere. Rias covered her mouth from shock. Azazel, what? No. Sarorg powered down and came to his senses. He sees Issei right in front of him with a hole in his chest. Sarorg, no, what have I done? He removed his hand. Issei fell face first. Rias ran up to him and used the second Phoenix Tear on him, but the wound was too big for the Phoenix Tear to heal. It seems it's that they aren't perfect after all. Serorg, what have I done? Rias, Issei, can you hear me? Issei, Issei. Issei was on the verge of death again with a hole in his torso. Issei floats in his dark subconscious. Issei, well, looks like this is it. I'm sorry, Rias, everyone. All things considered, it was a good life I got to live, albeit a short one. Issei then starts hearing a voice. Issei. Issei. Issei, who's there? Rias, is that you? Issei, come back to us. Issei, it is you. Sorry, but I'm done for. Hello, Issei, back so soon? Geez, dude. Issei. Hi, you know what you have to do if you want to see Ari again. You promised her a date, remember? Issei begins to have flashbacks of her. Issei, that's right, I promised her. I also promised to beat Serorg and help Rias win. Hi, then get up and fight. Issei, I will fulfill my promise. Rias is crying while Serorg shakes from the pain and regret. The crowd watches as Issei lays there motionless. Irina falls to her knees as her childhood friend bleeds on the ground. Asia went numb at the sight. Rias, no, Issei, please, come back. Just then Rias feels the air begin to sting and a gust of wind. She looks at the source and sees. Rias, Issei, is that you? Azazel, oh no, RIAS and SAIRORG, get out of there now. All ultimate class DVILS and above, we need your help to contain HIM now. Rias couldn't comprehend what was happening. She gets up and moves closet to Issei, who stood there motionless. She placed her hand on his face, or should I say mask. It was cold and rough to the touch. Serorg also got up. Serorg, Issei, are you okay? Issei put his hand out and Escalon came to him. He swung the blade with such force that the ground broke apart. The wind sent Rias flying, but Serorg caught her. Serorg, is that even Issei anymore? Rias, we need to leave now. Issei let out a roar while releasing waves of energy. Shit is about to go down. Part 10, Run. Issei looked at Serorg and Rias with those. They were darker than the deepest abyss. Rias, Issei, come back to your senses. Issei let out another roar and charged a Siro between his horns. Serorg's instinct screamed at him to run and he obeyed. Issei fired the Siro and just barely missed Rias and Serorg. The Siro went off into the distance. After a few seconds, a bright flash was seen, followed by a massive mushroom cloud. The barrier began to crack from the attack. Issei fired another one and again they dodged. Another mushroom cloud appears far off in the distance. Rias, we need to leave right now. Serorg, you think you owe me an explanation for what the hell is happening? Rias, yeah, sounds about right. Both we retire. Both were enveloped by a green light and teleported back just before Issei hit them with his third Siro. Issei then started firing again and again and hit the barrier each time. It was beginning to crack but not break. Issei summoned his boosted gear and boosted his power. He charged up another Siro for a few seconds, then fired at the barrier. It completely shattered it. Azazel, the barrier is destroyed. Everyone evacuate immediately. Get the women and children to safety. The small dimension is next to fall. Azazel flew out and entered his artificial balance breaker. He was followed by Seraphal, Graphia, and Surzech. Graphia, what is happening, Azazel? Azazel, I'll explain everything later. Stop him before he enters the Juggernaut Drive. Surzech, hang on, Issei, we are coming. They entered the dimension and surrounded him. Issei, without a second of hesitation, used Flash Step and started to slash at everyone. They were able to put up more of a fight than Serorg and actually pushed Issei to his limits. Issei would split Surzech's spheres made of POD almost every time. Azazel would use his spear for mid-range physical attacks, but Issei would be able to counterattack easily. He would kick Azazel hard enough to break his armor, revealing a beat and bruised Azazel. Seraphal created water dragons and the force alone would hurt him, but he would heal immediately. Graphia also tried to restrain him but couldn't without hurting him. They had no choice, they had to stop him with greater force. Azazel was down but Seraphal, Surzech and Graphia pushed it to the limit and attacked Issei simultaneously. Surzech, now covered in his signature POD, attacked Issei relentlessly. Graphia created a magic circle and increased gravity on Issei only. Serafal created more water dragons and hit him hard. Issei released a howl of pain, but D-Drag called out. D-Drag, everyone run, he's about to use the Juggernaut drive. Azazel, oh hell no. Azazel found the will to fight and appeared behind Issei only to take a 0 shot to the gut. Luckily, that took minor damage. Issei then began to enter the Juggernaut drive. His body became much larger but remained skinny. The red armor manifested around his body and changed color to black with white spikes. His eyes were like looking into hell itself. His tail was long and deadly. The hole in his chest had a flame. Zerzets, we need help. Issei's power in his hollow-feed Juggernaut drive alone was too much. The artificial dimension collapsed and everyone was back in the arena. By then it was empty as everyone had left. Graphia, if we don't stop him here, then he'll destroy the underworld. Azazel, I called for backup. Serafal, who did you call? Zerzets, incoming. Issei now supercharged his Zero Blast and was to fire at them until a blue streak of light came down on top of Issei. A voice echoes. Divide X 100. Serafal, you called Vali. Azazel, who else would be willing to stop him? Vali enters his Juggernaut drive and continues to divide Issei's power. Vali, Azazel, just what happened to Hayato, this power, it's too much. Vali continues to divide and Issei begins to shrink down to his normal size. He eventually turns back to his Vasto Lorde form and then chains shot out of magic circles on the ground and restrained him. Issei again charged up another 0, but Arthur showed up and cut off his horns. The 0 dispersed and Issei's mask started to crack and then shattered. Issei fell to the ground and so did Vali. His Juggernaut drive broke into pieces and he was back to himself but breathing heavily. He vomited after pushing his limits. Issei lay on the ground with a hole still in his chest. The chains let him go and returned to the magic circle from which Kuroka emerged. Kuroka, Vali, you okay? Vali, no, not really, but I'll be fine. Arthur, is the Red Dragon Emperor okay? Zerzets came to Issei and Kuroka came to his aid as well. She saw the hole in his chest, but Issei was still somehow alive. Kuroka, this makes no sense. Zerzets picks up the pieces of the mask besides Issei. Zerzets, what the hell happened to you, Issei? A few more portals appear from which Sarorg and Team Rias came out covered in bandages. Yasaka and Ari came out of the other portals, Yasaka in her true 9-tailed fox state and Ari in her hollow state. They looked at Issei who lay there with a hole in his chest. Yasaka, it happened, didn't it? Azazel, I'm afraid so, Lady Yasaka. Before anyone else could say anything or try anything, the mask pieces started to float and turned into mist. The mist hovered over Issei, then filled the hole in his torso, basically regenerating him. Everyone looked at Issei. Ari, ultra high-speed regeneration. Issei, now you're just showing off. Issei shot up and it startled everyone. They looked at him with wide eyes and froze except for Ari. Issei, please tell me I didn't kill anyone. They all sighed with relief. Graphia smacked him on the head. Graphia, you have a lot of explaining to do, mister. Issei, ouch, geez, that hurt. Ari, so what happened? Zerzets, something incredible and horrific. It's truly a miracle that no one is dead. Zerzets pulled footage from the magic camera which was used to record the raiding game. Those who didn't see it went pale at the sight. Issei looked sad but smiled in the end. Issei, I'm glad everyone is all right. Azazel, yeah, can I get someone to heal me? Issei, sorry. Azazel, don't worry about it, I've handled worse. Everyone looks at him and thinks, yeah right, you nearly died within 5 minutes. Asia used her twilight healing to heal Azazel. Vali gets up. Vali, okay, so Hayato, what was that power and how long have you been hiding it? Issei, well, I suppose I owe everyone an explanation. I was out testing my flight speed and duration in my balance breaker 2 months ago. I reached the coast of Japan and I was so tired after flying at supersonic speeds. I rested on the grass, but then I encountered a hollow. I didn't sense its presence until it was too late. It bit me and I got turned into a hollow in a way. I trained with Ari here who mastered her power long ago. Lady Asaka, Azazel and Rossways helped me out. Everyone looks at the three except for Ari. Everyone, you three knew that this might happen. Yasaka, it was a small possibility, but I had faith that Issei would be able to control it. Ari, and by the looks of it, he did. Rias, how so? Azazel, because he didn't critically injure anyone even though he could have killed us all, he was mostly on the defense. Once he combined his Hollow and Juggernaut drive, he was using D-Drake's powers, and you know what that means. Everyone had a question mark on their heads. D-Drake, it means that I was able to take control to some extent. Issei managed to control his Hollow part while I controlled the Juggernaut drive. Speaking of which, Albion and Volley, thank you. Albion, it feels strange to thank us, Red One. D-Drake, I agree, but I'm thankful for your aid. You two managed to bring my partner back to normal. Volley, and it took everything we had just to do that. Graphia, I wonder if both D-Drake and Issei ever lost control again then. Surzets, it'll take Great Red and Off-Eyes to take Issei down. Issei went pale. Issei, Wells, we won't have to worry about that. Akino, what do you mean? Issei, the last time I used the Juggernaut drive, I lost a lot of my life force. I would live a century at most as compared to the usual 10,000 devil years, but now that I did it again. Huh. Issei's face went blank, and so did everyone else's. D-Drake then spoke. D-Drake, actually, you won't die anytime soon. I analyzed it, and you used up most of your Hollow power and stamina this time. You'll live. Everyone released a sigh of relief. Issei, so who won the game? Rias, it was a tie. We both retired at the same time to avoid getting blasted into oblivion. Issei, sorry. Surzech, so now we better inform the public that everything is all right. What should we do with the 3 Chaos Brigade members? Volley, don't worry about me. I'm done with them. In fact, I'll join you under the condition that we are all pardoned and I get to fight Hayato again. Issei, geez, you're a battle maniac. Volley, it took all my power and Juggernaut drive just to turn you back to normal, and that's with everyone working together. I got a lot of training to do. Seraphal, well, considering you 3 did help us save the underworld without any casualties, I agree to your terms. Surzech, as do I, but you will be kept under observation. Is that clear? The 3 nod. Graphia, what about Cao Cao, Biku, and Lafay? Arthur, they will agree to your condition. Ravel, now that the raiding game was interrupted, what will happen? Sarorg, live to fight another day, I suppose. Everyone continues to talk. Issei gets up, but his legs are shaking. Just before he falls, Ari helps him stand. Ari, don't push yourself. Issei, thanks. Once I recover, I'll take you on the date I promised. Ari, sounds good, but one tiny concern. Issei. Ari, the girls are looking at us in envy while the Black Nekomata is lusting after you. Care to tell me what the last part is about? Issei, oh no. Kuroka, my name is Kuroka, and he's the future father of my kids. Issei, again, I never agreed to that. Kuroka, after seeing how powerful you became, I won't stop trying to have your kids. Naya. Issei, after seeing how powerful I became, you really think you can? Ari, ooh, snap. Issei, sorry Kuroka, but it's not going to happen. I'm a one-woman kind of guy now. Everyone except for the orc, Azazel, Yasaka, and Rosswace gasped. Kuroka, wait, what? I thought you wanted a harem. Issei, nope, I grew up and having a harem just isn't my thing. Graphia, Surzech, Seraphal, and Sarorg look at Issei. Volley and Arthur smile at the new and improved Issei. Kuroka was feeling kind of down. Issei, hey, there's no need to feel so down. I'm sure you'll find the right guy to have a family with. Ari, Issei, I have an idea. Sit down for a moment. Issei sits down on some of the rubble what he created from his sword swing. Ari grabs Kuroka and talks to her in the distance. Kuroka, what's this about? Ari, look, I know you like him for reasons other than to bring new Nekomata into the world due to low numbers, but then again, so do I. So how about I try to convince him to date us both? I don't mind sharing since that's how us Yakai do things anyway. Kuroka has a gentle and sweet smile on her face. Kuroka, thanks, I never got your name. Ari, it's Ari. Back with Issei. Serafal, so Issei, care to explain what you really meant by one-woman lover? The orc members except for Ravel and Roswace were scared now, thinking that Issei would tell them about what happened. Issei, I came to the realization that my love life with the girls in our team wouldn't work out. Rias is my master and I'm just a low-class pawn. Our relationship might cause too much backlash and I didn't want anyone thinking that I would give more attention to one or the other. All of this would have ripped the team apart and none of us want that. We are better off as friends and teammates. Grafia, but don't you love Rias? Issei, I do love her, but I'm not in love. There's a difference. And us being a couple was what the underworld decided. After Riser no longer being in the picture, I was put on a pedestal right next to her. A forced relationship doesn't work out for anyone. Sirzech, I am saddened by the news, but your logic is accurate. Things did turn out exactly as you describe it. Rias, are you okay with this? Rias, yes, we all accepted it and it's the right thing to do. Issei, it's amazing how clearly one can think when they don't feel lust, and Sirzech, I'm sorry, but the Graben dragon is done for. Sirzech, what? Grafia, Issei, the children love you. Issei, after what they saw, I doubt it. I probably traumatized them. A dark cloud loomed over him. Serafal, how about a reboot? Everyone looks at her. Serafal, think about it. What better way for them to get to know the new you? We can say that the Graben dragon thing was a test of sorts and we are trying other ideas. Azazel, that might work, and Issei in his hollow state was pretty badass. Scary but badass. Issei, I can't tell if that's a compliment. Ari and Kuroka return. Roswace, we should clean this mess up and go home. Grafia, leave that to us. Issei and everyone else go home. Once you recover, I want to know the real reason you changed. No one changes so much so quickly unless they suffered. All of Team Rias froze. Vali, Kuroka, and Arthur were confused. Issei, yeah, that's fair. Grafia, you too, Azazel. Azazel, yes, ma'am. Kuroka, should I ask? Ari, no, not yet, you'll find out soon enough. Part 11. Issei and everyone went home. All members of Team Vali followed Sirzech, and Kuroka was no longer marked as a stray due to her aid in saving the underworld. Zerorg started training in every way he could after healing. Yasaka went back to Kyoto, but Ari remained by Issei's side mainly to make sure his inner hollow didn't take over or anything, but her other reason was that she likes him. Issei slept for almost 3 days after the fatigue hit hard. Ari and the rest of Team Rias and Irina got to know her during the time. Rias, so you're the one, Ari. Ari kind of nervous at the interrogation. Ari, the one how? Aquino, the one Issei likes and said he's going on a date with you soon. Ari was happy that Issei likes her back. There was no denying it. Ari, yeah, we agreed to go on a date after the game, but it's best that he recovers first. Also, I didn't your names. The orc and Irina introduced themselves except for Roswace. When Rias introduced herself at the end, to which Ari hollowfeed. They backed off and Ari immediately turned back to her normal self once she took a deep breath. Ari, Rias, Gremory, Aquino, Heimjima, Kaneko, Taojo, and Kiba, Yuyudo. She said with a hate in her voice. Rias, wait, why are you so angry? Ari, you've hurt him. The four were now gloomy. Kiba, now I understand your anger. You know about it. Ari calms down. Ari, yes I do. I needed to know to find out how his hollow powers was triggered and to what extent. He had to tell me. Aquino, what else did he say? Ari, that he forgives you for. Everyone went still. Irina, less than a month ago he nearly killed Rias. Ari, Irina, Issei forgave them and did something even harder than that. He forgave himself, which is something far too few good people do. Asia, meaning. Ari, he accepted the part of him that caused him trouble and overcame them. For example, his lust caused him trouble, but after controlling it and then overcoming it, he is a far better person. The whole 3 weeks he looked Lady Yasaka in our eyes instead of our bodies. He's a real gentleman. Zenovia, he shared everything. Ari, again, yes he had to. There's wasn't anyone really helping him cause no one here really experienced what he did. Don't get me wrong, I know all of you saw your mistakes and tried to make things right by being there for him, but he needed something else. Roswace or someone else? She winked at Ari. Ari blushed. Ari, I don't want to sound boastful, sorry. Kaneko, she teased him too after they returned. He went red and not from lust. Ravel, I wonder how you connected so deeply in just 3 weeks. Ari, we are two of a kind after all. She went into her hollow state. Kiba, but both of your hollowifications look different. Ari, I was born with mine. Issei was turned into one directly and from the most powerful type of hollow. I'm as strong as a high-class devil, but he's ultimate class easily. Akino, but combined with the boosted gear. Ari, Devil King level or above, no question. It took Surzech's Lucifer, his queen, Azazel and Seraphal Leviathan to stop him. Rias and B was mostly in control of it. It's honestly amazing. Ari, Hollow and Dragon powers are fueled by emotions, mainly rage, but forgiveness and self-control greatly help in mastering the Hollow within. Irina, how were you born with them? Ari, my mother was bitten by a Hollow a very short time before I was born. My body accepted the Hollow powers, but my mother couldn't. She passed away and I hated my powers because of it, but then I realized that it isn't my fault or my mother's, so I accepted the Hollow and mastered it. Rias, you let go of the anger, and so did Issei. Ari, yup, so what will you do about what Lady Grafia said? Zenovia, tell her the truth, obviously. We accept any punishment she has for us. Everyone agreed. Ari, I hope she doesn't punish you guys. Rias, but don't you hate us for what we did? Ari, I am angry about that, but if Issei can forgive, then I have no ill will towards you. After a few moments of silence. Irina, so any plans on your date? Ari, not really. There's a fall festival coming up soon, so we might try that. Kaneko, what did you talk to my sister about? Ari, well, that's between us for now. Us cats and foxes must stick together. She replied with a smirk and slight blush. After a day or two more, Issei had recovered completely and everyone met up with Azazel. Ari joined them to report what kind of training Issei went through. When they went to visit Surzech, Grafia, and Seraphal, they gave them a look that demanded the truth. Surzech, so who will start? Issei, I will, but I request keeping an open mind and know that I'm not angry and happy with my life. Grafia, very well, continue. Everyone explained their part in the events that led to Issei being heartbroken, his outburst resulting in dragon shots being fired at the sea and the moon, getting bitten by a Hollow, depression, change in personality, hollowification, training with Ari, Yasaka, Azazel, and Roswace in Kyoto for 3 weeks. Grafia, that's quite the story. Surzech, Rias, Akino, Kiba, and Kaneko, I'm honestly disappointed, but you're in luck. Issei holds no grudge against any of you. In addition, you did try to make things right when you saw your mistakes. You are let off with a warning. Seraphal, Ari, we owe you a great deal for helping Issei control his powers, which lead to him not killing everyone in the underworld in his Hollow Drive. Issei, I like the name. Hollow Drive sounds fearsome. Seraphal, yeah, I'm glad you like it. Grafia, so now we decide on the Red Dragon reboot. We can decide that in due time. Issei, but please no more perverted stuff. Wholesome family entertainment is better for everyone. Surzech, how about some sexual innuendo for the adults? Issei, depends, how many are we talking about? Azazel, at least a couple per season should it become a show like before. Issei, yeah, I can work with that. Seraphal, I guess that concludes the meeting, quickest meeting ever. Surzech, thank Geo Ouch. Rias saw that coming. Grafia, also FYI, the match was decided as a draw. You and Sarorg can fight for the champion title next time. Rias agreed. The meeting concluded and everyone went home. Ari, so Issei, you know what to do now, right? Issei, yes I do. When would you like to go on our date? Ari, there's a winter festival in Kyoto coming up soon. How about that? Issei, sounds perfect. Akino, oh how I remember our one and only date. Issei, you mean the one in which Rias, Asia, Gasper, Kaneko, and Zenovia followed us using their atrocious stealth. The 5 mentions looked away in embarrassment. Issei, piece of advice guys, follow us on our date and you'll see the Hollow Drive fully unleashed. Issei manifests his Vasto Lorde mask this time. Ari, yes, kindly refrain from doing that. Ari uses partial hollow transformation. Ari, make sure not to try anything. Everyone gulped. Everyone, yeah, we'll just stay here. Issei, smart choice. Part 12. After putting the fear of the hollows in Team Rias and Arena, Issei and Ari spent time together daily. The fall festival was days away. Issei and Ari went to the park on a practice date of sorts since none of the two ever went on an actual date. Issei's first date killed him, and his date with Akino was incentive for her to beat her opponent alongside Rias. The two sat on the bench and enjoyed each other's company when suddenly a little cat jumped on Issei's lap. Ari, oh how cute. Issei, yeah right, wait a second, this cat has two tails. Kuroka, is that you? Kuroka turned back into her nekomata from in a puff of smoke. Kuroka, you guessed it, Naya. Ari, care to explain why you interrupted our date? Kuroka, you've kept me waiting with no answer about our agreement. Issei, what agreement? Ari, oh right, Issei, Kuroka and I agree to both go out with you if you're willing to accept. Issei, but I told you and everyone I would prefer to be with just one woman. Ari, just hear her out, you might change your mind. Issei looks at Kuroka. Issei, okay sure, what do you want to say? Kuroka perked up. Kuroka, look, I know I may come off as a hoe, but that's not the case. I really do like you. I only act all flirty and show off my body in hopes that you'll lust after me. I know it sounds wrong, but I do like you. I'm being direct since you're not driven by lust anymore. Issei, and you're okay with this, Ari? Ari, I am. If our relationship doesn't work out, then you'll have Kuroka by your side. Issei, you should have a backup plan for most things, but love isn't one of them. Ari, I know, but she does like you and so do I, just think about it, okay? Issei, and well, who am I to break your hearts? Let's give it a shot. Kuroka is really happy and turns back into a cat from excitement. She's almost hyper and Issei tried to calm her down. He rubs her ears and she freezes, then changed into her nekomata form again. Issei stopped and saw a blushing Kuroka with a pout. Kuroka, why did you stop? Issei, I almost treated you like cat rather than a person. Sorry. Kuroka, bitch, I'm both. Issei, you're a person first and foremost. Never forget that. Kuroka, you really have changed, matured mostly, and I like that about you. Issei, thanks, life improved for everyone after that. Kuroka, I'll say, but can you please continue to scratch my ears? I really like it. Issei, if it makes you happy, then so be it. He fulfilled her request and she enjoyed it so much that she was completely relaxed on his lap. Ari looked at him with a pout of her own. Issei, what? Ari, do me. Issei, again, what? Ari, I'm asking you to scratch my ears, us foxes love it too. Issei, oh thank goodness, I thought you meant something else. Kuroka, someone is still has a bit of perv in him, Naya. Issei, geez, you're not helping. Ari, ha 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 ha, come on Issei, do my ears too. Issei, hee hee, alright. He started scratching both their ears and ran his hands through their hair. Both were taken over by the sensations. Ari, oh Issei, your hands feel so good. Tilde. Issei was now starting to turn red. Kuroka, oh yeah, don't stop, oh yes. Issei basically had steam coming out of his ears at this point. The moans and seductive words were becoming too much. He decided to slow down and eventually stop. This way he calms down and the girls get their fill. Ari, nice trick, Issei. Issei, you saw through that, huh? No surprise there, huh? Issei, Ari and Kuroka went his place only to find that his team were packing their belongings. Issei, what are you guys doing? Zenovia, they're moving out. Kuroka, how come? Akino, because in case you and Ari move in when you're dating Issei, it'll be weird that most of his exes living under the same roof. Issei, guys, you don't have to do this. We can still live together as a family. Rias, no Issei, we both know that some of us can't stay. Everyone except for Roswace, Irina and Ravel hurt you. You dated Akino and I almost connected with Kaneko the same way. Those feelings will forever linger. Kiba and Gasper are coming with us. I do need my knight and bishop by my side. Issei looks for Asia and Irina for help. Irina, sorry Issei, but they made up their minds, but Asia and I will stay. Half the team in one place and half the team in another. Issei, what about Zenobia and Rosways? Asia, they're staying here. Ari and Kuroka stay silent since this was none of their business. Issei, guys wait, can you at least let Kaneko stay? Kuroka will be staying with us and it's best that those two try to spend some time together. Kuroka looked at him in surprise. Kuroka, she won't like that one bit. Issei, I'll talk to her about it, no need to worry. Speaking of which, where is she? Irina, she out getting some snacks. It's been almost an hour now that we noticed. Ari, should we go look for her? Issei, no, I'll go alone. She barely knows you and is a bit alert around Kuroka. I'll be back soon. I know her favorite shopping spot. You two can make yourselves at home. Issei walked out the door to look for her. He found her sitting alone not too far from the park, barely visible, but she looked down. Issei silently approached her. Issei, hey Kaneko, you doing okay? Kaneko was a bit startled. Kaneko, oh hey, yeah, I'm fine. Issei, whenever girls say that they are fine, it really means that they aren't, so what's bothering you? Kaneko. Issei, it's Kuroka coming back, isn't it? Kaneko, yes. Issei, look, I know that you hate her for leaving you, but you don't know her side of the story. Why not talk to her? Kaneko, I'm afraid too. Issei, afraid you'll get close and get hurt again. Kaneko, yes. Issei, preaching to the choir, sister. Kaneko, I never got to fully apologize to you for everything I did to you. Issei, considering my former perverted nature, I had most of it coming. Look, I know your fear all too well and it nearly killed me. Don't make my mistake, she really wants to be sisters again, you know. Kaneko, how do you know? Issei, earlier I asked Rias to let you stay and catch up with Kuroka. Kuroka was surprised by my request but saddened immediately after fearing you would leave her like she had to leave you. Kaneko, she had to leave. Issei, I believe so. I don't know her past, but I know she cares for you. Give her a chance. Kaneko. Issei. Kaneko, you said that you don't want a relationship with 2 or more women at the same time, so what was that at the park? Issei, I'm dating Ari, but Kuroka seems to like me as well. Her confession was genuine, so who am I to break her heart? Kaneko, so what will you do? Issei, go out with both of them as a trail. I'm not sure if I can handle 2 relationships. Kaneko, you did good with the rest of us. Issei, up until that moment I fucked up. Kaneko, not your fault. We knew about your trauma, which we were responsible for, and still blamed you. Issei, hey, forget about that. I'm over it. If I can get through all that and still love you guys, then you can do it too. Kaneko smiled. Kaneko, thanks, I'll try. Issei, good, come on, let's get some ice cream. Kaneko, vanilla and chocolate chip. Issei, cool. They picked up some ice cream and went back. Everyone was done packing and decided to have dessert together after dinner. Issei's parents were disappointed that half of them were moving out but would visit as per their request. They welcomed Ari and Kuroka, who magically hid their fox cat ears and tails. Issei didn't want his parents to know about the supernatural just yet. Part 13, a real date. The fall festival had begun in Kyoto and everyone was enjoying themselves. Little children played and the aromas from every food stall was heavenly. Issei was waiting for Ari in a special place in Kyoto, a place where the supernatural could enjoy the festival without any humans there. Issei, Drake, I'm kind of nervous. Drake, you'll be okay, partner. Issei, thanks. Ari, oh Issei. Issei heard her calling him. He looked at her. Ignore the balloons. Ari, how do I look? Issei, you look, wow. Ari, thanks love, you look good too. Issei wore black jeans and a very stylish jacket with fake fur on the collar to keep him extra warm. Issei, thanks. Ari, so where would you like to go first? Issei, I'll leave that to your better judgment since you know more about the festival in Kyoto than I do. Ari, in other words, ladies first. Issei, you're one sly fox. Ari, I like that, come on, the sun is setting and there will be a fireworks show soon after. Issei, I'll get us something to eat to really enjoy the show. The two went on a perfect date, had food, laughed, saw the fireworks from a spot on a small hill. They were happy and by the end of the date they shared a kiss. Ari, that was my first kiss, you know. Issei, and it's an honor to be your first. Ari, a flirt as always. Him. She caressed his hands and face with her tails. Issei never felt such a soft and gentle sensation up until now. The second she stopped, Issei came back to his senses. Issei, why did you stop? That was so soft. Ari, make you a deal, kiss me again and you can feel more than just my tails, and I'm talking about my lips. Issei, I'm in heaven. They started making out, and after 10 minutes Issei was the first to stop. Ari's you okay? Issei, yeah, it's just my dragonic instincts almost kicked in. Ari, well, I'm honestly glad you did. I wasn't ready to go that far yet. Issei, neither am I. Ari, I did enjoy it though. Issei, best kiss of my life. Ari, even better than the others. Issei, you have a gift that none of them have. Ari swung her tails at the compliment. She kissed him once more. Issei took her back to her place. Issei, I had the time of my life. Ari, as did I. Issei, if you ever want to go on another date, then let me know. Ari, deal. Ari went inside. Issei could hear her sing from joy. Oh, how he loved her voice. He didn't want to hang around and seem like a stalker, but just as he started to walk away, he was interrupted by Kuno jumping on his back. Issei, what the Kuno, where did you come from? Lady Yasaka appeared right after that. Yasaka, she sensed your presence here, and once she does, even I can't stop her. Kanu, why didn't you come visit us today if you were here in Kyoto? Issei, sorry Kanu, I planned on it, but there was something I needed to do. He looked at Ari's house and smiled. Yasaka knew that look. Yasaka, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know you two were on a date. Ari was behind the door listening. Issei, yes, it was our first date together. I'm sorry for not telling you that I was here, I apologize Kanu. Yasaka, no need for that. If anything, we owe you an apology for interrupting your date. Issei, no, it's quite alright, our date had concluded. Kanu, are you staying for a while? Issei, I can't, but I promise to visit. If you want to see me, then just know that I'm only one call away. Kanu, okay, can we play with Big Sis Ari again like last time? Issei, sure, we love spending time with you. Ari whispers to herself. Ari, if you're that good with kids that aren't your own, then just how good of a father you'll be one day to your kids. Dare I say, ours. She got lost in thoughts about her and Issei having kids, but she won't be the only one. She knows that Kuroka likes him too. She peeked through the curtains and saw Issei letting Kanu sit on his shoulders and Yasaka looking at her with a smile and a wink. Ari went eeeepp, then ducked from embarrassment. Yasaka is definitely a wing woman for Ari. Issei teleported home and went to bed. After a second or two, he felt something move on his bed. He looked over and saw Kuroka in her cat form. Issei, hey Kuroka, were you waiting for me? She turns back to her usual self. Kuroka, yup, so how was it? Issei, how my date went us between her and I. Kuroka, so what about our date? You said you would. Issei, I'm free tomorrow, you. Kuroka, sounds good. Issei, we can watch a movie tomorrow if you want. Kuroka, done, I'm a free devil now, so why not? The next day they went on their date and watched a movie, had dinner together and had a great time. Kuroka was really happy that she was free. By the end of the day they kissed, and right at that moment they saw a camera flash go off. They both looked at the bushes and heard voices arguing in a low voice. V1, why is the flash on? V2, it's too dark for a photo without one. Issei and Kuroka quietly approached the bushes. Issei makes his regular hollow mask appear while Kuroka was blushing from embarrassment and slight anger at her ruined moment with Issei. He cuts the bush in half in the camera with it using a scalpel. The two were without a doubt Irina and Gasper. They looked at Issei with fear. Irina, ohh, hey Issei. Issei, hahaha, I warned you. The two immediately bolted as Issei went full Vasto Lorde and chased after them. Kuroka fell on her butt laughing. Good thing Issei can control his hollow powers, otherwise those two would be dead. In time, Issei began to fall in love with Ari and Kuroka. He married them both in 3 years' time and had 2 kids named Naruto and Kurama who were inseparable. He had a number of kids with Kuroka mainly because she wanted lots of kids personally, and to fulfill her duty to save her race from extinction. His parents were eventually told about the supernatural and they were very accepting of it. Rias and Aquino were envious of Ari and Kuroka, but knew that they couldn't switch places with them. Issei starred in a new action series for full family entertainment, and it was a bigger hit than The Graben Dragon. The kids wanted so much to be as strong as him that they trained continuously and became quite strong. He made more than enough money to look after his family and provided them with the very best. Epilogue. Issei had mastered his hollow drive in a year or so. He was so powerful that no matter how hard Volley trained or how strong he got, he couldn't match Issei in a fight. This eventually reached a point where he just gave up. His power was the key to stopping the release of Trihexa Risvim. Lucifer wasn't a match for Issei obviously as his power continues to evolve, but it was never enough to corrupt him. He always made time for his family. This is his hollow drive. He was known by many names such as the Hollow Dragon, Crimson Hollow, Guardian Hollow, etc. So many names, but he only went by 2 names. His own and Ddrake's, for they are 2 in 1 after all. He taught many children that they should accept their flaws and rise above. It worked for so many of them and became better people in every way. His Hollow and Dragon powers were also passed down to his kids who were now classified as a new race in the underworld. Their parents taught them to control and master their powers. Many were afraid of him at first, but he won them over with kindness and not by fear. Rias became champion of the raiding game since Issei was her pawn until he was promoted to Ultimate Class Devil. He was offered to become a Devil King, but he refused because he would rarely get to be with his family. He introduced Matsuda and Madohama to some ladies in the Fallen Angel and Yakai factions. The 2 were no longer pervs and became better people and married a fallen angel and a fox yakai. They were there for Issei, now Issei helped them. Surzech and Grafia still wished that Issei was their brother-in-law, but alas not all wishes come true. Rias and Aquino couldn't be his wives, so they settled on being aunties for the kids as per Issei's, Ari's, and Kuroka's request. The same went for the rest of the orc. Surzech and Grafia's son Milikus finally had little brothers and sisters since Issei was a brother by bond to them. Off-Eyes and Great Red would challenge Issei one day to his power now rivaling theirs. Issei refused to fight as to avoid ripping the very fabric of reality into nothing. They were skeptical at first, but Issei showed no hostile intent or deception. He made peace with them. Great Red went back to the dimensional gap but would drop by and check on everything. Off-Eyes still in her little girl form would move in with Issei, but his very existence including his wife Ari and his kids would intrigue her to no end. Everyone was worried about her staying, but she meant no harm. She too felt protective of them. She bonded with Kaneko and would eat sweets together. Kuroka, Ari, and even Kaneko would help restore Issei's lost life force after the first Juggernaut incident. He later had a peerage of his own which includes Ravel as bishop, Zenobia as knight, and Glid Leviathan as the other bishop, whom he saved after beating Risvim, Roswace, and Biku as rooks, Arthur as knight. Volley eventually became really good friends with Issei and would drink with Surzech and Azazel. Albion and Ddrake let their rivalry go to maintain peace. La Fei and Cao Cao didn't want to become part of a peerage since they were pretty happy with their lives. No fighting among anyone and peace reigned supreme. The human was eventually told of the supernatural and they took over using a democratic approach. They were shown the truth of everything as a sign of trust and faith, which weird since some of it was coming from devils and fallen angels. But when the angels themselves shared their views, the humans followed their lead and peace reigned everywhere in the human world, underworld, heaven, and eventually other mythologies. Humans were taught magic that fixed just about all their problems. They could create homes, grow good easily and in seconds. Flight and teleportation removed the need for vehicles. Pollution and climate change no longer became a problem. Those with exceptional magical talent compensated from those who had next to none. Those who wanted to be like everyone else in the supernatural worlds joined them. Any conflicts between them were resolved through peaceful means, but should hostility ever arise, then a raiding game would solve the problem. In case it didn't and someone wanted war, then Issei would be ready with his hollow drive because he is a hollow with a heart. The end.